Alright, so it's been quite some time since our adventurers have gone on a adventure, because that's what adventurers do. The last main quest that both Osa and Joseph undertook was that of taking down the woman known as Titan Backbreaker, a title she gained after defeating a Titan Primal by herself. The news of such a very extravagant quest has spread amongst the populace, though with the request that the Divine Destroyers were painted in a bit of a better light, as well as giving them a lesser sentence due to their pseudo crimes of trying to destroy the Pantheon. The Divine Destroyers have mostly been set free with warnings here or there, as many people did not really know the end goal of said organization. They only really wanted to create their own plane to live upon. Though with Vizinviev dying and having her body transported back into Mana, the organization itself has kind of disbanded mostly, with Azame also being a large backbone to the group. The other two leaders of the gang that still live, that being Dranben and Shersha, have been behind bars for quite some time, 2 months passing after the final brawl at the ball. Shersha has been on a sort of house arrest, as she is allowed to continue working at her orphanage, though not really allowed to go many other places due to her attempted crime. And we say crime because it's not exactly written in the law, you can't fight the Pantheon, but it's one of those things you don't have to say to people, and it's not really something people can do. So no one really thinks about it. The news of the Divine Destroyers, their actual plan and their eventual disbandment has spanned across the globe, as tales of both Osa and Joseph have begun to sprawl up here or there, digging up their previous deeds. From their time at the Daragonon Manor, taking down a house turning into monster, their hands in the troll debacle towards the north, where they were able to sign up a contract with the troll queen Zara, and with the help of Biggs, or rather Biggs taking all the credit, no real information has come to light about the Crimson Materia they had gathered and released Gefwin from. So that's still not exactly remains a mystery, but it's more Biggs is making his own story about that. And speaking of which, the filming for the world's first ever movie has started at a great pace, as the beginning of filming had been pushed up to September. 2 months after the Divine Destroyers quests, we're heading into the end of September. So local news stations, reporters, and journalists have been writing many articles about this movie, having interviews with Investigator Biggs himself, as well as the other cast members, putting on their own acts, replacing the people who obviously would not go there. One of them being the leaders of the Thieves Guilds, because they're not exactly want to be on camera. Joseph spends a lot of time within Stoneshore, setting up his own house there, buying up some local land and building, and then refurbishing it to being the second biggest building within the settlement, rivaled only by the Longhouse of the Mayor. Though along with that house, both he and Osa have gained the keys to a local, it's not exactly a chapter house, it's a house where the higher-ups or people on leave would go to within the Fell. That was refurbished for the party to use at their own leisure, rather than having to keep using an inn. Kumunch wouldn't have seen much use of this, as he also moved into Stoneshore, helping to kick Joseph out of his Shade family and replacing him as the best son and cook. And there was also the case of Mogme, who, after seeing Zolag appear within one of the cities, giving him a warning, decided to go on a great journey to find his previous master. Getting help from the court wizard Regandas, Mogmi said his farewells and set off on a grand journey that took him far, far away from Gargan. Though due to being Time Age, would often send messages into your heads, whether you liked it or not, telling you about the locales you would visit. Stream not working, no sound. That sounds like a you issue. It's working for me.
Working for me as well.
While we're taking this quick little break, I have a resub.
We're not taking a break. Do it in the 10-minute break halfway through.
Oh, too late. Oh wait, no, it's never mind. I'll do it later then.
Okay. This is the things you do beforehand. God damn it.
For some reason, I wasn't signed in, so I had to re-sign in, and then by the time I got into that, you were already talking, so I didn't want to interrupt.
Okay. Well, it'd be terrible to interrupt now anyway, because we're still going through things.
Okay, I will wait.
As the party settles down, both in the Fell and Stoneshore, the 2 months pass by as you retrain yourselves as well as improve your equipment, aiming to be at the ready for the next quest. With each passing one, you've been fighting harder, larger, and more numerous foes, and so having the best equipment and bodies at hand would be very, very wise to do so. And as the downtime continues on, both Joseph and Osa receive letters in the mail. A Moogle, which I will throw onto the screen. Make him large just so it's easy to see. The Moogle messenger approaches both of you as you take a weekly or so visit to Nephel, making sure nothing's gone awry and possibly just moving stuff between the two houses. He pulls out 2 rather large envelopes as he hands it to both of you, each one stamped and seemingly very expensive, possibly from a celebrity or higher up who has the money to spend on wasting it on pieces of paper you're going to throw away.
Messages for you, Q pal. They seem urgent.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. So open it up and see what it reads.
Yep.
The Moogle flutters away off to a nearby rooftop, continuing to throw letters down chimneys and entering people's houses without asking. Opening up the letters, you see them to be of the printed kind rather than handwritten, possibly the printing press progressing faster than normal. It's been typed up, and it's sent to each of you individually, so it says Joseph Shade and Osa Greytail. And it's a very long and convoluted letter, to the point where, upon fully reading it, it seems to be an invitation to one of the filmings of a big situation. The letter itself has been sent from Big himself, and it also offers you a role in the movie.
Well, our days of being not famous have passed. What do you say, Osa?
I mean, I don't really care.
It's not like we have much else to do right now.
I'm gonna go check it out, but I don't really want to be part of it.
That's fair enough. Let's at least take a
Like,
look.
people know my name well enough without it, and I don't like that either, so I don't really want to be on the screen or anything. But we can go check it out, I guess.
We can always disguise ourselves as well.
I mean, it's a movie, they're going to have makeup and whatnot, so if you don't want to look like yourselves, they can do that.
Yeah, I guess that could work.
Let's go.
Alright, so you both accept the invitation and go to the location noted on the letters. Moving through the... well, you would be in the high-class district anyway, because that's where your building would have been anyway. So, moving through District 3, you eventually come across the filming studio. The building itself is insanely clean and newly painted, possibly built for this movie production in particular. The building is quite large, though that you can say that about a lot of the buildings in the 3rd District, though this one being a lot more wider than tall as the other skyscrapers are. A few guards are outside, all in black suits with earpieces and sunglasses, though they easily recognize you as both of you have become kind of not exactly a household name, but if someone mentions your name, it's like, oh yeah, I heard about him or her. They nod towards you, open up the doors, and allow you to enter. People run about the corridors as pieces of paper flying through hands, as well as clothes hangers with coats and costumes fly around. And entering inside, you find your way into a kind of filming area, at which point you can see the man you had spoken to near February. The filming stage is quite alien to you. Plenty of electronics are strewn about. Multicolored lights light up the room into a kind of garish manner. The large cameras you had seen before, mostly within the She facilities, are set up to record a scene. This one seemingly to be in an underground office. Several bookshelf props have been set up and a large table. There is no roof, as they will normally change these scenes out. You see Biggs reading up upon a script as he looks over the camera, and floating atop a very tall chair, similar to what you would normally see at a pool for a pool boy, is a Moogle who holds a microphone pressed against his lips, shouting out orders for people currently acting.
Yep, that's it, Kupo. A bit more effort. You gotta feel the rhythm. You gotta put the emotion into it, Kupo.
Stepping through the drapes, you can look across the scene that's currently being played. It seems to be a side story going along with Biggs, possibly to appeal to the underdogs or those who aren't exactly at the front stage. As you make your way into this area, you also notice a familiar face, though you have to look down towards it, as you can see Alessia, who you last saw within the Daragon Manor and left partway through it due to some personal reasons.
Hey, Alessia.
Jester, that's you!
Okay. Well, hey there, Kupo.
What are you doing here?
Well, I'm just here having a couple shoots, getting a couple filming things done. Like I said, personal reasons, Kupo. How about you guys? What are you doing here?
We were invited.
Oh. So you're the ones I'm working with, Kupo. Good to be working with you again, Kupo.
Glad to see you're well.
Yeah, I decided to leave the kind of adventuring stuff behind me a little bit. Kind of found a new thing in life. Pretty good, Kupo. What about you guys? Are you joining?
We're just checking things out. How's Fenrir?
He's good, Kupo. He's not allowed in here. I was told off before bringing him in. He broke a couple things, so I can't have him in here.
Yeah,
What about you guys? You still into the adventuring stuff?
Yeah, kinda.
Kinda, hey, Kupo?
I mean, it's been quiet the past few months, but I guess we're still in the biz.
You guys look pretty shiny. And I see you got a couple more muscles there, Osa. Joseph, your feet seemed a little bit lighter. You guys seem like you've been working out.
Always.
Not much else to do.
Our teamwork is always improving.
So is it just you guys, Kupo? Or is it anyone else? What happened to your other guys?
as you're talking amongst yourselves, the drapes of the movie studio start to pull away again as another character makes his way into the area.
Hey, Remy.
Well, hey there, Kupo. Long time no see.
Yeah, been a bit. How you doing?
Doing good. Managing to get that district up and running a bit more recently.
That's good to hear. Yeah, last time we saw you two, we were at the manor.
Ah, the manor. Good times, Kupo. A little bit dangerous.
You two kind of left on your own. Left me and Osa there to finish things up.
How'd you get on with it? Did you finish the quest?
We found a couple more friends, helped us finish that, and then the next little quest that we went on.
Oh, good to hear, Kupo.
Did you manage to find a replacement for my sharp tongue?
I've been working on it.
When I heard Biggs was doing this, I thought I could lend a hand.
So you both in this movie then?
Yeah, why not?
That's right, Kupo.
Good for you guys.
Yeah, it's good to have the whole gang back again.
But I've been hearing stories about you two, though. Word travels fast. Basically saved the world.
That's right. You're all over the news, Kupo.
It's not really where we want to be, but we can't really do some of the things that we've done and stay out of it.
You're basically celebrities, Kupo.
Still so weird.
As you are catching up with the original team, Biggs finishes up a scene as he gives a shout over to the Moogle at the top. I think that's enough there, Maction. It seems my guests have arrived. Let's take 5 as I talk to them.
Alright, Kupo. That's it, everyone. Hit the buffet tables, Kupo.
The Moogle darts from his chair up on high as he flies straight to the tables full of food and drink. Seems he's the first to get there, and a lot of the other staff members are sad at this. It seems he's able to eat for a lot more than just a single Moogle. Biggs wanders over. As you can see, his clothes have been recently laundered. He also seems to be wearing a bit of makeup across his face, and as well as his hair being dyed slightly. Well, it's good to see the original gang back together. What's it been? 7 months now?
Been a while, Kupo.
Seems like it's been both longer and shorter.
I mean, time must fly when you're saving the world.
Yeah, I also heard about that. I think the last time we caught up was during that Dagenham Man whole debacle. You took down a house, now you're taking down deities. It's quite the leap you got there.
Well, she wasn't quite a deity, but she
Taking
was
down,
close enough.
taking down people who try to take down deities.
It's not what the papers say, Kupo. You guys just blew up the news.
Don't remind me.
Biggs takes a swig from his flask, then he realizes it's just a prop, and he gets sad there's no coffee in it. Well, as a sort of thank you, as well as another way to pay you guys back for the whole thing with that Crimson Materia, I hope you all got my letters. You're invited to be cast into a role in this movie. Obviously, you won't be playing yourselves. I know you don't want that kind of fame dragging you around, though. These two aren't exactly stopping the fame.
Yeah, I'm sure they can always do it a little more, Kupo. Celebrity life's hard.
And that is, I keep getting hounded when I'm trying to do my investigation work. And with this movie starting its filming procedures, I'm pretty much off the clock for now. Spending all my time over here.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm good to just keep to the sidelines.
I'll join in, Kupo.
I'm willing.
Always
to
up for it, Kupo.
myself, for sure.
Well, if you're willing and ready, I've already set up some acts for you to play as. It's one of the more pivotal chapters of the movie. It's when we all met with the Underground Thieves Guild. Biggs goes into his pile of papers as he hands each of you a script. Now, scene 12 has a bit of dialogue, though it's more of an action scene, taking a bit of liberty for what happens within the Undergrounds. If you're up for it, Joseph, you'll be taking the part of the Thieves Guild leader, Croce. I myself will be playing myself. Osa, if you are willing to take the part, you'll be playing Gal Katao, my partner in crime. Well, crime fighting, that is. Remula, you'll be playing the part of Moneybags Moolah, an assistant to the Thieves Guild leader, handles all the finances and whatnot, though you're going to be a bit flustered in this scene as you're going to let something slip. And finally, but not least, an explosive entrance and starting off the battle within the scene will be Alessia, taking on the part of the Batava Master.
Sounds great, Kupo.
I'm not really one for acting, so I'll pass if that's okay. She kinda hands the script back towards Biggs.
Come on, Osa. It's always a great time to try something new. You never know, you might enjoy putting on this... on a disguise.
I don't know, it's not really my thing.
Alessia kind of flies up towards Osa's head devil and just pats her on the back. Come on, Kupo! It'll be fun. It's like having the old crew back together. Except just a little less more danger and a little less fighting and blood and... Come on, it'll be fun. You'll enjoy it.
She kinda looks at Joseph like, are you doing this?
I don't plan to be good, but I'm going to try.
Fine, I guess. Sure, okay.
Well, that's 3 of 4. How about you, Remila? You in?
Of course I'm in.
Great. Well, let's get you all into wardrobe. We got costumes and some makeup artists, even some hairdressers. We're not going to be cutting any of your names, just styling them a bit different. Biggs kind of puts his hands onto the taller guy's shoulders and guides you all to the makeup department. First up is costumes. For Joseph, as the Thieves Guild leader, if you've ever seen Dark Souls, it's a similar kind of fur attire to that. You have a white and grey fur pauldrons around you, as well as a leather garb of both grey and silver colours. Replacing your normal weapons is a short sword and dagger with golden hilts. Osa, within the garb of Gal Gadot, it seems your character is written to be a bit of a, not exactly superhero, but more flashy and energetic. Possibly a role you might be ill-suited for. We'll see how it goes. Your clothing consists of kind of like suit attire, though it's of garish colors of yellow and green. Strapped to your back is a large greatsword, and within the middle of it is some writing. You're not sure it's any language, or you're just there to throw in some backstory. Especially for your hair, whilst you're normally a wild and untamed mane, they style your hair into it's not shaven or anything, but they do like gel and wax it so you have a kind of mohawk going on. Remula, your top hat is replaced with a feathered cap of both green and black colors, and you wear a finely printed pressed doublet coat. Your pom-poms definitely on show. You have several pouches of gil attached to your belt, though it's not real money, it's just there for show. And then finally, Alessia, as you are dressed up in Matavan Master, as a kind of counterpart to Gal Gatal, you're dressed up in almost a super villain garb. Your clothing is bright red with black trimmings and almost spiked, as if you're wearing like plate armor, but it's still made of leather, so it's easy to move around in. A large kind of Japanese-like symbol appears on the back, and it seems you've definitely gone very outlandish with your design, and you're probably thinking your character's going to be very loud-spoken and energetic. Though with a single line, you're not going to be able to show that too much. As your wardrobe is all finished up, your costumes are done, your hair and makeup is done. There's not much in the way of makeup. Osa's face may be cleaned a bit, because I know she has kind of like war paint going on. I don't know if she has that on just normally.
Probably.
Well, they're going to ask permission just because they know who you are, and they're going to ask if they're allowed to.
It's basically just charcoal.
Can they take it off?
Yeah, they can.
Alright, they'll wash you over, and they're going to have like eyeshadow and stuff that kind of goes with the whole theme of green and yellow. And finishing up, you all brought back out together outside the wardrobe. As you look upon each other, you hardly recognize one another, though since you know it's you guys, you can see quite the change.
Looking good there, Elsa.
Do I? Feels weird. Not use the colors.
Joseph and Alessia are very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've settled into my role.
I don't know what you mean, Kupo. I'm ready for this. Let's go.
As you talk amongst yourselves with the wardrobe all set up, Biggs comes back and he sees the final product. Ah, amazing. Can hardly tell it's you, if I didn't know from all that bulking muscle and those stances you got going on. Your scene's up next. The scripts ain't too long, so hopefully you're able to put together enough. We'll have several takes, so if you do mess anything up, we can go through it again. You all ready? Need any tips?
I'm ready, Kupo.
I'm ready, Kupo.
Ready as we'll ever be.
Fish, I can hear like weird tapping from you.
I don't know why, I'm literally doing nothing.
Alright. Biggs leads you back into the scene. It seems to have taken on a different color than before. It still is in a office area, though probably a different time of day or after an event has gone on. Biggs and Osa set up just behind a door that leads into the office, whereas the rest of you get into your places. Remular is sat onto the table, whereas both Alessia and Alessia and Remular are off screen. Joseph is sat at the desk. The Moogle sits up high on his chair as he looks over everyone in their places. Everyone checks for sound, audio, and makes sure none of the makeup got messed up on the way.
Alright, Kupo. This is the big fight scene. Number 2 of the whole movie. We gotta make it climactic. End up this arc. And then we get on to go to the big mansion. Everybody ready? And action.
A new face within my hold. Whom do I welcome into my office this fine evening?
I was going to have like an introduction thing, but sure, you can go straight into the talking. That works too. Investigator Biggs, I've been investigating the disappearance of a certain Gerardine. I'm of the impression, and from local intel, that you might know something of her whereabouts.
Boatman Biggs here has quite the nose for info, better than mine.
A Moogle then comes flying in from a side door as it's slammed open, papers in hand, sacks of gil at his hips.
Do I have a script?
Yeah, I showed it to players.
Didn't open. I see nothing.
But you have the same issues you did yesterday, I think. Not yesterday, Wednesday. Alright, I'll save you this on Discord. Well, there's a message. You can read it like that, I guess. I can hear that tapping again from you.
Right, I'm good. I got it. Oh, boss, we got a big scar in the dead sector. That girl you sent down there. She'd be back with more before long Cooper. Wait, dyslexic.
The most charismatic. Crush stands abruptly, angered by his assistant.
You fool. Hold your tongue while we have guests outside the guild.
A girl? Not a red mage, I take it. You wouldn't send her to such a dangerous place. Or would you? The Moogle Moolah sweats profusely as he tries to fix the situation.
Oh, of course not, Cooper. It was a man. A blue man, of course. My eyes are all more focused on money than profession.
Biggs and Osa kind of lean into one another as they whisper.
I smell an imp, Biggs. They aren't telling the truth.
Always perceptive. Keep your axe close, gal.
Want to do the shining surprise?
Good plan. Get ready in case they turn hostile. Noticing the chatter, Crush jumps from his chair.
Well, it seems like discussion is served right. We can't have you sticking your nose into our healthy cold goods. Mateva.
The ceiling explodes as a Moogle in full green garb lands onto the desk. Throwing their heads up, they dart a dastardly gaze at the partners.
Kupo, you've been a bad Kupo.
Before the Moogle can continue, Gal throws up a flash bomb as both she and Biggs throw on sunglasses. A massive burst of light fills the room as bullets and blades start to fly. And then needs Osa, you can make me a bluff or diplomacy check.
I don't think it makes a difference. Let's go bluff. Oh!
No.
Practically good.
Even though she was a bit hesitant to get into the movie, she seems to fit right at home in her role, and she kind of forgets at times that she's Osa, going straight into the persona of Gal Gatau. Joseph, I need a bluff or intimidate from you. And almost as if he's had a career full of acting on stage and pretending to be someone else, Joseph goes well into the role of the Thieves Guild leader Croche, almost upstaging Biggs and possibly getting a higher rating when the movie finally releases. Alessia. Alessia, I need you to make a diplomacy or an intimidate. And seemingly having a lot more training in such fields, and possibly helping out with some of the pre-production, Alessia knows her character back and forth. And along with both being able to act out the role, both through a speaking way, her actions in combat are flashy and leave no need for a stunt double. Remula, give me a diplomacy or intimidate check.
Ah.
Can I use his only hero point?
Sure.
I rolled a 4, god damn it.
And you're pretty sure Biggs is going to be sweating a bit as you guys are putting on a outstanding performance, as Remula definitely plays the fool very well, even being able to make himself sweat on command. As well as that, you engaged in the fight, simply throwing out prop weapons and firing blanks all around. Let's see how good Biggs does against you all. It's not terrible. Like, it's better than most average people, but against you guys who just have busted skills.
Why did me and Joseph roll so low?
You rolled high at 12. Biggs plays his role very well, and due to him having a much longer standing role within the film, he's possibly going to pick up the points elsewhere. The scene plays out in an extravagant battle, and it ends off with Biggs and Gal Gadot being able to bluff their way into the good graces of both Murtava and Mullah, granting them onto his side, turning enemies into allies. Though the Thieves Guild leader Croche darts into a dark room and disappears for another scene for another day, possibly a sequel. You'll never know, as that's the only part of the script you were given. The scene goes through for about 3 or 4 more takes, taking up about an hour of your time. The scene is reset a few times and having to be cleaned up with the fights, creating quite a bit of mess and debris. At the end of it, you're tired through and through, not just from the physical acting, but also putting on the guise of someone else, mentally tiring you out. But mostly probably Osa, but she got really into her role, so she has no reason to feel any sort of down feelings to how her performance was played. Coming out from the performance, the director, Maction, blows on his megaphone.
Cut, Kupo! That's all a wrap here today. And a wrap on our special guests. Give a round of applause, people! Kupo.
The other staff members start to clap loudly for your performance in the scene, possibly shocking and awing the people who didn't expect much from some newcomers and random people who, to them, were brought off the streets, though they do recognize both Joseph and Osa.
Joseph will take a bow.
Awkward wave.
That was quite fun. Oh, sorry. Bro, forgot myself. Yeah, that was fun.
didn't expect it to be, but it wasn't that bad, I guess.
Pretty good, Kupo.
Well, Romeo, you're the master of diplomacy and whatnot. How did we do?
I mean, you guys have definitely come a long way from what I remember. You still got a bit to learn. If you pop down my area, I could teach you. But also definitely surprised me the most.
It's
You're
funny
not the
because
only one.
I might have rolled off a hero point then I could have gotten.
Hey, you're like 7 levels higher than Remula. I had to do it. 9 levels, whatever you are. You never know, if you give up saving the world, you could become an actor.
Maybe it's something we can retire on. But as of right now, we've got nothing else really going on. But something will come up, I'm sure.
Biggs walks on over as he now has a separate mug of coffee, a large grin across his face, and you're unsure if it's due to the beverage in his hand or the scene that just played out. Great show all around, my friends. It was definitely a good choice to invite you in today. I take it you all acclimated to the role as well?
Well as we could have with so little preparation.
Well, that was one of the reasons I gave you a short part. I know that all of you were very adapted doing the physical acting.
Yeah, it just come natural to me, Kupo. Always been good with the words.
Yeah, I've been in the film industry for a little bit now. I'm still learning, Kupo.
Well, you're all welcome to stand around and watch out how the other scenes play, as long as you don't leak anything to the press and what's going to be happening. But that'll be it for you for acting today.
Where's the food?
I knew one of you was going to ask. Very thrilled to help yourselves to the buffet table. We get it restocked every 2 hours or so. Food gets to get cold and whatnot when it sits out like that.
Oh, good. When's it supposed to be restocked again?
After the next scene, I take it. They don't like to change it whilst we're filming.
Alright.
I suppose you will have your own catching up and talking to do. I also have to make sure the scenes play out well, so I'll be busy. If you do wish to have a sit down and chat at some point, you still have my card, I assume?
Yeah, it's in our stuff somewhere.
I would take that as a painful attack against me if I didn't know better.
Sleight of hand, 1 second. Here it is.
What do you mean sleight of hand? Are you like taking it out of your equipment?
Yeah, I was trying to do it like stealthily, but like just like make it appear in my hand.
Card trick.
I mean, yeah, sure, with 33, yeah, you pretty much just make it appear within your hands and nobody knows how it got there. Good. See, you've definitely been improving within your tactical abilities. Well, I'll leave you all to it.
See you around.
Biggs returns back to the camera to make sure everything's working properly and checking over the shots. As the 4 members of the original Crimson Materia crew are here. And I say original because Alessia was a replacement for Atlas.
First death of the campaign.
R.I.P.
Only death of the campaign.
Actually, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Crimson Tier was only 8 sessions, and I think only Atlas died.
There was like no one else has died.
Permanently.
Yeah.
Not permanently, no. Yeah, I think Atlas is the only one who's perma dead at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, everyone decided to have a sleep, so it wasn't his fault.
You had a tiring day walking through the dead sector, alright? Now he's just joined the dead sector.
So what's your plans from here then, Cooper?
Well, we're currently out of work, so wait for something to come along. I've got my manor being built in Stone Shore. Osa, didn't you want to go visit your family at all?
Not really. Didn't really think about that.
It is an option. They did say we could go.
Could I ask you two a favour, Cooper?
What's going on, Remy?
Well, just been struggling with the charity. I've been putting in as much money as I can, but it's not getting very far. Would you be able to just spread the word? I mean, one little whisper from you two would go a long way.
Yeah, I think we can do that.
Yeah, that's something we can definitely do.
Thank you, Cooper. You'll be helping many people in that district.
Kind of taking a leaf out of your book there, Remy. The house that I'm building is going to be a place of recovery where anybody who's sick or injured or put out of their house for whatever reason can come and stay for a while until they get their feet underneath them.
Well, nice one, Cooper. I mean, you two have probably done more than anyone could ever ask. So doing something like that as well, even if it only helps a few people a day.
Yeah, it's true, Kupo.
Yeah, after some of the things we've seen recently, definitely decided I wanted to give back some ways. And I figured this is a way that I can help people without being too personally involved, because I don't have the skills to run an orphanage like you do, Remy.
But it's not that hard. I mean, with your fame and fortune, if you tell people you've got an orphanage, you'll be begging to take the children off you.
Yeah, exactly.
What a way to put it.
I mean, I'm not wrong, Cooper.
So what I'll do is I'll have like a pamphlet made up, and I'll have it in my little manor, and if there are orphans that come through there, we can send them your way, and I'll also be sending donations your way every now and then.
I appreciate that, Cooper. Speaking of which, I gotta head back. It's been quite busy recently. And if I'm not there, people start fighting.
Well, that's good for you.
It's good seeing you.
I wish
Hi,
you luck.
Kupo. I'm also going to take my leave. Fenrir's probably getting bored without me, Kupo.
No, he's not. He's on a beach somewhere, soaking in the rays.
Why would he do that? He likes the cold.
No.
It's a frosty beach.
Whenever he goes home, he goes to a beach.
Well, in my mind, he misses me, Kupo. So I'm going to take my leave.
Okay, we'll see you guys around.
Yeah, good seeing you. Stay safe, Kupo.
You too.
You need any information about this area? I've been here for about 7 months. Know where to find me, Cooper. And Remy goes away.
take it you all part ways.
Yeah, I would say Joseph probably don't.
I mean, if you want to hang around, don't really have anything planned for the day.
Alright, have fun everybody. I'll be on the stream every now and then. I'll definitely throw an enemy our way when you're fighting the next boss.
No!
Oh, thanks.
See you later.
Alright.
As the party go their separate ways, and Joseph and Ursa meet up again to go to either the house or back to Stoneshore, we'll have a bit of a detour as we go into the life of somebody else. Off somewhere far away into the area of the dead sector, we meet up with Leonard O'Quinn, a 24-year-old man who grew up in a small town located south of Erina. Side by both Freya and Flynn O'Quinn, Leonard has found his way to Nefel, seeking anyone in need, as well as possibly a fast-track path to becoming a hero. With single-digit bards telling of his past deeds, Leonard continues his journey to making his mark as a household name. And does Leonard want to give us a brief description of what his character looks like and is?
Yep. So he's quite a tall, slim, but quite muscular, defined character. He's coated in full plate armor underneath his sort of white, long, sort of lab coat, but has sort of black lines going through it. He's equipped with a long sword, which also has strapped on a revolver, making it a gunblade. White hair, but he's not old. He's only like 22 or 24.
Yeah, I know some people who've gone grey at that age.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
As Leonard, the very, I'd say the more technology advanced person with the gunblade, because I don't think anyone else in the party is anything technology-wise so far. He has taken up he's taken up a most recent quest within the city of Nefel. He went to the Reclaimers Guild, hoping to pick up any quest, as many people have been searching for relics of the past, as well as anything that their family had lost during the war between the Elvan continent of Yuana Dre and the mishmash continent of Gargan. Going to the Reclaimers Guild, he sought to take up a large quest to go after a humongous museum or going to a dangerous part of the dead sector, hoping to get something of quite high value or something that many people would have adored him bringing back. Though during his time at the Reclaimers Guild, he instead took up a quest that was almost thrust upon him. A man, stricken with grief as well as claw marks across his body, stumbled into the Reclaimers Guild, calling out for help. Covered in blood and tears, Leonard quickly went to the man and offered his help. And it seemed that the man had lost his child, who had made their way through a crack in the wall, possibly fallen to the age-old debris, or was something that was missed during the attack. His child, a young human named Tyler, had gone missing 3 days prior, and since the lad had always been scouting the walls and picking up things where he may, his father found the crack as well as a piece of his clothing stuck to the rubble. The father did try to go into the dead sector, but was ambushed by monster upon monster and had to flee, going to the Reclaimers Guilds and asking for help. Even though this wasn't grandiose, it was still a hero's duty, and Leonard took up the job to find Tyler within the dead sector. Though just as eager as anyone else in his youth, though you couldn't tell he was young by his looks, he darted off into the dead sector alone, looking for Tyler. You can speak now, Jack.
Alright, as I'm sort of wandering around, I understand there's probably monsters everywhere, but the best way to find someone is trying to shout their name and try and find it. So as I'm wandering around, I'm shouting the name Tyler. I would say, I, I basically go around and say, I know your father. He sent me here to come and find you. He's worried. Please come out.
Your shouts echo within the dead sector, filling it with a eerie atmosphere. You are only replied with the movements of rubble and dust as stones kick around. Make me a perception check, please. With his special eyes, Leonard is able to look over the local vicinity. Just like any other part of the dead sector, it is destroyed and abandoned. The only signs of life he can find is that of flesh taken from monsters or anyone who had came into here, possibly attacked by the monsters. Though as he's searching around, calling out for Tyler, you start to hear the simple crying of a child in a building nearby.
I'll rush over to the building.
As you rush over to the building, a sort of tunnel vision comes over you as you find a lead towards the child. And as the shadows from the walls cast upon you make the area darker, the shadows themselves start to shift and weave as glints within them start to shine through. Though with your perception, you're easily able to see them as they form out of the shadows. 7 tall and lanky humanoids appear, scimitars in hands, and no expressions upon their just skinned over heads. At which point, do you have any knowledges at all?
Only history, local, and nobility.
Okay, let me double check if you can actually investigate what these things are then. This would be a knowledge local, so feel free to roll that. As you look over these humanoids, you quickly identify them to be monsters, even though they try to disguise themselves as otherwise. And just like their heads coated in skin, they are named Faceless. You know them to be quite weak, or at least in comparison to the things you fought previously. And even though there are 7 of them outnumbering you in the darkness, you are sure you could cut them down in moments. They start to surround you, cutting off any type of exit.
I'll kind of look around as they're surrounding me, sort of snigger and smile and say, I wouldn't start this. Move, and you'll live. Otherwise, I'll cut you down and save the boy.
Roll Intimidate. Some of the Faceless, even though they do lack a face, show visible signs of being a bit anxious at the situation. A few of them take a few steps back, aiming to walk away. You then notice 2 of them, seemingly unfazed by your threats, dart towards you with their scimitars in hand. They begin to slash down at you. I'm pretty sure these guys are never going to hit you. One of them crits! Well, they would not normally hit you, but this guy had a very good breakfast, allowing him to work at peak proficiency. He's able to dig his sword into your armor and into your skin, though just as you fought from their very meek stature and lack of muscle, it deals very little damage to the point it does 4 damage.
I'll kind of look up as it hits me. I'll say, was that meant to hurt?
Are you gonna retaliate?
Yep. I forget it's not a macro, it's an actual attack. Hang on. Is it just a single attack?
No, you can full attack if you want a bit more of them.
Gladly.
With your guntana in hand, you fire off a shot as it comes from your side to your front, cleaving through the first faceless and chopping him in half. The one who would have damaged you any further due to his crits. You then swing around your sword to your behind as you pierce it through the head of another faceless, who falls down behind you. 2 more get their nerve as they charge forward, though with a spin and flourish of your blade, you cut down another, and then seeing the other guy go for your back, seeing it be a very cowardly move, you move your blade backwards and cleave him in 2 in a very, very brutish manner as you critical him to the floor. The ones that did step back can see you cleaving it through their brethren, and the 3 remaining start to dart off into different directions. The shadows lay still over the building, and the sounds all start to dissipate, aside from the pitter-patter of feet going off in the distance and the rubble being moved by the wind. You don't hear any more crying from inside, but it's possible your gunblade did frighten the child into silence.
I'll shout out and say, there's no need to be alarmed. That was me taking down the monsters that were keeping you captive. Come out. I'm here to help.
You hear the shuffle of rubble and rock once more as the child calls out,
Ah! I can't! My leg's stuck!
Don't move. I'll come and help. I'll move over to where I heard his voice coming from.
Moving into the building, you shift your way through rubble as you can see a large pile of rocks fallen from a upper floor. The floor above you seems very unstable, only being held by half a pillar. Beneath the rubble, you can see the half body of a child, the bottom half being trapped underneath the rocks. He kind of tilts his head upwards, but it's kind of hard in his position.
Mister! You gotta help!
I'll move towards the child and try to move the rubble around to kind of loosen him free.
Roll me strength. Moving up to the child, you're able to move the rubble with ease. Most of the time, you're even able to use one hand. The child is awestruck by your strength, and you're quickly able to move enough for him to squeeze through the gaps. More rubble starts to fall down. There's more pebbles and dust, at which point you can give me a knowledge engineering check. You can do this untrained. All right. With the child free, he kind of crawls forwards towards you. It seems one of his legs was broke from the rubble.
Thanks, mister. I don't think I can walk out of here.
It's alright. I'll carry you out.
How are you going to carry the child?
To start with, I'll probably sort of do like a fireman carry, like put him over my shoulder, and then once we're kind of free of any debris and stuff, I'll give him like a piggyback and hold him with like one arm under him.
All right, you hoist him over your shoulder as you start to move out of the building. At which point, your lack of knowledge about construction work or buildings seems to have failed you, as the building starts to shake and shudder. More rocks and rubble start to fall. A large portion of the upper floor falls in front of you and crashes into the floor beneath, cracking it severely and creating uneven terrain around you. The lone pillar, or at least the half of which remains that holds up the ceiling, starts to crack over as the cracks dart off into different directions. The pillar collapses in on itself as it falls downwards, and you need to make a reflex save and then an acrobatics check, please. As the building starts to collapse on itself, making itself a single story rather than three, rocks and rubble falls all around you, though you're able to dash to the sides and jump around, able to dodge each and every one, all while making sure the child is not hurt by your jostling or any of the other falling debris. You make it to a open window, though there is no glass, so it's just a hole in the wall. As you dart your way through it, you make your way out of the building as it continues to collapse and turns into just a heap of rock on the floor. A rush of dust and wind is erupted from the destroyed building as it kind of almost cleans the road as it pushes aside a load of other debris and rock. You cover the child with another hand, making sure to protect them from the debris as well as any of the sands. And after a few seconds, the noise and the wind stops as the building settles in its now heap.
You okay, kid?
Yes. Thank you, mister.
That's quite alright.
Did my dad send you?
That he did, son. That he did. How about we get you home to him?
Yeah. That sounds good. I don't think I want to come out here again.
I would advise that. It's not safe. It's not a place for a kid. Here, hop on my back. I'll get you home.
The kid kind of clampers around your shoulders and neck as he gets into a, not exactly, well, depends what kind of piggyback you think of, but he has his legs around your shoulders and just like above your head.
Yeah, it's fine.
At which point you lead the kids through the with a broken leg. Yeah, I mean, he's got to rest that leg on something. He's resting on his shoulder. You take the kids through the dead sector, and he wasn't too far in. He was about a half-hour walk from the wall. Though a half hour in the dead sector can be dangerous, as any monster could be living in any of the buildings nearby. At this point, need you to make me another perception roll, please. With a keen eye and great sense of hearing, you're able to detect the danger coming from a mile off, as you can hear the heavy pounding of paw against the rock, a moist breath, and the shuffling of fur as a large creature starts to make its way towards you. And from your past experiences, you can make a knowledge arcana check. You can make this untrained. Alright. You're able to identify it just from the noise and from what you can hear to be the size of it. that a Bandersnatch is approaching you and the kid. At which point you realize that whilst you may not have taken much damage, possibly not even broken your skin, the child has possibly bled somewhere and is setting off a scent for the Bandersnatch to track.
I'll help the kid down from my shoulders, find a place for him to hide and put him there. We've got trouble heading this way. Stay here, stay quiet.
Okay. Don't be long gone. Don't be gone long.
Don't worry, I'll protect you. To which I'll then take my sword off and reload the ammo that I used.
You flip a cartridge into. You have the gun is the revolver, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Flip a cartridge into the chamber as you expel the remaining one. At which point, give me a intelligence roll.
This one.
What was that, sorry?
My worst one.
Yeah. Again, you have a sort of tunnel vision as you're aiming to protect the kids, and the road to becoming a hero is definitely littered with bad decisions and learning from mistakes. As you reload, you allow the expended cartridge to fall to the floor. Very high-pitched ting radiates throughout this neighborhood. You then hear a soft growl from the Bandersnatch and its feet starting to pick up speed as it approaches the sound.
This could be trouble.
And now I'll let you roll for your fate. Roll me a d3, please.
Character dies, gotta make a new one.
Alright. This is technically the worst of the rolls, so yes.
Ah.
So as you're looking around the streets and the nearby buildings, hoping to get a sight on the Bandersnatch before it approaches, you're instead only overtaken by a large shadow. And as you look up above, you see the Bandersnatch was able to climb up a local building and jump from the rooftops. That is tiny, what the fuck? The Bandersnatch prowls from the rooftops as it crashes onto the floor and possibly onto you. What is your flatfoot CMD?
It is 33.
How is your flatfoot CMD higher than your AC? What? You guess you just have a shit ton of strength and not a lot of armor.
Correct.
Alright. So the Bandersnatch jumps onto you, and it gets its two front large paws onto your shoulders. Though, even though you were not suspecting it to come from the skies, you do expect combat at any time here. And with a solid knee into the stomach of the Bandersnatch, it lets out a heavy cough as wind exhales from its lungs. And then extending your leg into a kick, you kick the Bandersnatch off of your shoulders. It does a kind of backflip and it lands to the side, its paws scraping across the floor as it slides back. It brings back its breath as its tongue lays low and slaps onto the floor. If this wasn't a monster, he could have sworn it was a coup looking for a next meal. Its red eyes look at you, and even though it is a monster, he could have sworn it was a demon from its just looks in general. It seems this thing hasn't fed in some time, its ribs showing through its stomach. And especially with that kick, you have winded it, allowing you a first action against the beast. It's around 15 feet away from you.
If that's the case, I will charge at it.
Alright, go ahead and make your attack.
Yeah. So when I charge at it, I'll also be taking a shot at it as well with my trigger attack.
Mm-hmm. The Bandersnatch goes on its hind legs as it starts to prepare for your charge, though you're faster than it anticipated, as your blade vibrates through its body as a magic shot goes through its body as well as the swords, cutting in deep and vibrating to cut even deeper. A bolt of lightning shines across your blades, and it almost cauterizes the wound as the smell of burning flesh starts to radiate into the area. It lets out a large howl as it's pained, and it appears you to cut it deep, though just 1-1. It could prove to take more than one hit. I take it all of that text is already in the roll.
Yes.
Okay. And being attacked, it retaliates against you, hoping to get its own blood drawn. It goes wide with a open maw, though its tongue retracts, so it doesn't bite that off. And as it tries to bite into you, you instead just kind of move your guntana sideways, and it pierces its own jaw on the blade and stops the top with the handle, easily able to stop his bite before it even closes on you. Letting out a whimper, it pulls back as it releases your guntana and you, because it had no chance of hitting you what it rolled.
If that's the case, I will then also retaliate back.
Jesus. It's only Bandersnatch, come on. Alright, all of those will hit, so how do you wish to fail the Bandersnatch?
Pretty much just keep cutting it. With each attack that I have, cut it in half. And the pieces that cut in half are cut in half again and again, until it's just pretty much nothing.
Alright, Raiden. So, first you cut the tongue as it winds out and pulls back on its hind legs. You cut off each limb into halves, and you segment it out into nice pieces ready to be served up. Though you're pretty sure not many people are going to want what you just made. Its carcass falls to the floor, or at least the pieces of it, and the lightning from your blade continues to sizzle away at the now revealed flesh, letting off both steam and a cooking smell.
I'll kind of like swing my sword to kind of fling off some of the blood that's on it, and then I'll holster it back in, and I'll go back to where I put the kid. Right, we seem to be safe. Let's keep moving. And then I'll.
Wow, you're pretty strong, mister. I heard a Bandersnatch is the last thing you want to see in the dead sector.
Got a lot of training, kid. A lot of training, and a lot more experience. To which I'll then pick him up and put him back on my shoulders.
Do I have to become old like you to be that good?
You can kind of see like a vein pop in his head and be, I'm not old.
But your hair's grey.
He then starts to pull at the sides of your hair. Not hard, but like pulling out to show you.
It's just the way I was born. I mean, I wasn't always grey. It came with a couple more years. It was just a kind of early stage. But I'm not old. I'm physically fit and young.
Do you have a wife too? My dad said he got grey hairs when he married with my mom.
No, not yet. I'm still searching for a little lass myself. But I haven't found anyone yet.
I have a sister.
No. No, thank you. Someone more my age.
Oh, she's not that. I don't know many 30-year-olds.
30? Please don't guess my age.
Did I get it right?
No. I'm 24.
Aww. That's a lot younger than I was thinking.
That's right. Goes to show with a lot of work you put in, you can get to pretty high strengths at a young age.
I guess I'll find somewhere else to train. The dead sector isn't really the place for me right now.
No, I agree with you. It's not a place for you to be, especially not this young. You need to find a trainer. Someone
I'm
who can
not young.
support you.
I'm 6 3/4.
I remember being that age. But I would recommend finding a trainer, someone to teach you.
Are you free Saturdays?
Unfortunately, I'm in the hero business. Heroes haven't really got a lot of time. We're always out on busy missions.
A hero? What did you do before this? Did you fight a dragon?
Well, no, not yet.
Did you save a princess?
But no, not yet.
How about a hydra? I hear they're really hard to kill.
Uh, no, not yet.
Have you fought anything?
You can just see that his head's just getting lower and lower. I'm still early stages. But one day I'm gonna be a hero. I'll be the greatest there ever's been.
You and Tyler continue moving through the dead sector, and you're able to make your way through the last portions of it, taking him to the Reclaimers Guild.
Well, here we are. We pretty much made it back. Let's go see if we can find your dad.
I can find him. Dad!
The kid yells out as a older man jumps up from a nearby bench. He obviously passed out on it. Seemingly, some of the Moogles and Taratari were tending to his wounds as they kind of dart away. Tyler, my boy! The man runs up to you and takes his child in his arms, and he kind of hugs him very tightly. At which point, you can hear the child crying a bit from the pain of his leg.
Be careful of his leg. He's got a broken leg.
Oh, a broken leg. We could set that right. His mom's a nurse. Thank you, sir. I don't know what I would have done if I lost little Tyler here.
It's quite alright. Not a problem.
Dad, he's a hero. He doesn't have a wife though.
But heroes don't need wives.
What? But you said getting a wife made you stronger. If he gets a wife, you'll be stronger too. Then you can fight a real dragon.
Son, I don't think you should be talking about a man's life like this in front of him.
But why?
It's kind of rude.
Oh. Sorry, man. Mom, you didn't get your name. White hair man?
It's quite alright. Don't worry. We were having some conversations on the way back. The name's Leonard, boy. Leonard O'Quinn.
Alright, Quinny.
The old man digs his hand into his pocket, and you see it kind of has a few holes in it. Thank you very much. I don't have much to offer, but here. He then holds out a close fist to you.
I'll put my hand open beneath his.
He opens up his hand, and 4 gil fall into your hand. One of them is kind of bent inwards a bit.
To which I'll put my hand in my pocket and pull out another 20 and put it back into his hand. Here, keep that for the boy, and I wish you guys good health.
You see the man kind of tear up at the corners of his eyes. Thank you, sir. This will definitely help fixing his leg. And I'll see to boarding up that damn hole in the wall.
That I would. I'll kind of look towards the boy. Now, you grow stronger. I think you're gonna need to protect your old man here one day.
As you look over to Tyler, you can see he's picking at his father's hair, who's a bit longer than yours, and he's kind of putting the grey hair and threading it into his.
See? I'm getting old already.
To which I'll say, well, I wish you both well, and I'll sort of walk on my way off.
As you make your way out of the Reclaimers Guild, you hear both Tyler and his father saying goodbye to you as they wave. A few of the Reclaimers start to talk amongst themselves as they notice what you did. At which point, someone from a group walks up to you. A woman clad in full plate armor with a blue tabard and feather coming out the top of her her closed helmet. She lifts up the visor and she nods to you. And she's going to be tiny? Yep, she's tiny. Probably going to be a lot taller than you since you're only like 4'9".
Mm-hmm.
I saw what you did for that child there, sir. Very valiant. And giving back the money and more to the father.
Yeah, that's right. Trying to be a hero. It's all about giving back to the people.
You kind of look up to her and she like looks down to you. It's a bit of a awkward stance. Well, I'm currently recruiting some heroes. We've lost quite a few in the local battles. You ever thought about joining the army?
I had a friend of mine. You might know him. His name was Newt. We trained together to become part of the army, but I decided to know. I want to become a solo hero. I'm just in the sort of midst of finding a loose group. That just seems to pick up some quests and wanted to make a name for themselves. I don't really want to join something as big as the army because you'll sort of get lost in the amount of people there. I appreciate your offer, though.
So, you'll be Leonard O'Quinn then?
That's the one.
I might have something you're interested in. If you're not joining the army as a permanent spot, we do have a opening within a group we're forming. Another local hero has been researching some local disasters, and he needs some muscle, as it were. He's a bit weaker in the whole bicep department.
Oh. Leonard would sort of like pick up his arm and tense it. Well, if it's a bit of muscle you need, and a hero, I might be able to offer my services.
Well, I shall take it to him then. But don't worry, I won't fireman carry you. Kinda chuckles a bit as she looks down at you.
He looks a bit awkward.
I don't suppose you're free right now? He's currently in one of the local libraries researching local events.
Matter of fact, I am. I just finished up a quest there, so... Yep, I got all the time right now.
Good, then we shall be on our way. We do need to hit a ride on the train. It's quite a bit of a walk, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's alright. I'm quite good with transport.
She then holds out a plated arm to you. The name is Alfera Fortis, by the way.
Nice to meet you. Well, you already heard, but my name's Leonard. But you can call me Leo for short.
At which point you can roll either knowledge local or knowledge history. Oh no, not knowledge history, knowledge nobility, sorry. Alright, looking upon her armor and her telling you her name, you'll recognize that this is a major within the army of the 3rd branch.
Good to know.
She leads you away from the Reclaimers Guild and to one of the nearby train stations. Hitching a ride into one, she pays for your fare. Doesn't seem like she's exactly wanting for Gil. And as you sit down, the local TVs blur around with all the local news. One of the local stories is about the first movie, Epic Situation, being filmed. A few flashes of images here or there show the ins and outs of the filming process, and a document saying that it would be about 2 to 3 hours long. Which is a bit of a surprise, as most recorded media in this world is only about 10 to 30 minutes, depending on what it is. Most of videos is just more like the news telling you what's going on about. Anything else is just more like local skits or instructional videos. The taping industry hasn't really got to the point where it's just entertainment. At which point you do see flashes of images, as you can see both Osa Greytail and Joseph Shades as they appear on screen. A news story reporting on their work against the Divine Destroyers.
I'll sort of kind of nudge out there and say, those guys seem to be really making a name for themselves at the moment.
Ah, yes. Backup plan. We've worked with them a few times. They are definitely a trustworthy group. And as you say, quite the name and fortune is following them.
Absolutely. I'd do anything to meet them. That'd be a good start on my journey to become a hero. Make a good name for myself.
It is possible I could arrange that. I do know of 2 of their residences.
Yeah, well, if you could set something up, that'd be great.
We'll have to see how you do on this mission with our mutual friend. After
Yes.
which, if you prove to be a valued asset, we might see about setting up a meeting between you.
Brilliant. That's good to know.
I shall warn you, at least Osa is not too much for big gatherings. May not be a prolonged meeting.
I'll try to keep it short and sweet, I guess.
The train rushes off as it goes into the 3rd district of the 3rd sector. It lands into a very populated area, as it seems to be going into a commercial district. Leaving from the train, you pass by a few buildings, plenty of people waving or giving a bow to our fare as you pass. You eventually reach the library in question, which is a grandiose building. Large banners are on each side of the doors of both black and red colors, a golden lion symbol in the middle, at which point you can roll knowledge local or knowledge history. You'll recognize the golden lion head, and you'll also remember you saw those. We'll ask the question. G and Entro, the golden lion emblems you were given, are you wearing them prominently, or are you just holding them within your bags?
Are they easy to attach to clothing?
Yeah, they have pins on the other side. They can be used as badges.
I would put it like on my shoulder or something.
Osa would just have it in her back and only like use it when it's absolutely necessary.
Okay. So Leonard, you'll remember that you saw the same symbol on Joseph's shoulder, and you can recognize this as a symbol of the most trusted members of the community, normally referred to as the Golden Lions. So this building is quite in high esteem and possibly a private building.
Okay. Seems to be like a pretty high place right here.
Yes, it holds many a secret that the populace doesn't need to know, but it also holds all of the most recent events before they are totally notarized and put into chronicles.
Good to know. Well, if you're happy, let's go on in and meet this guy. Or gal.
Alfaro leads you through the large double doors into a pristinely clean library. The smell of paper and ink flows on the wind as you open up the door. There's not too many people in here. From just the entrance, you can see possibly 3 or 4. Each one seems to be either a high-ranking member of the Eye, or someone who is the richest of the rich and gave their wealth into security and the well-being of the kingdom. Alfera leads you off through a few of the corridors of bookshelves, and you're pretty sure this is going to be a long, long walk as we trade off perceptions onto another person. As we trade perceptions to another person, again, it's going to be a long event, so we shall take our break here and pick it up when we come back.
Okie
See you in a minute.
Investigator Biggs, it's not your break time.
He can always have a break. He's done so much, you know?
We're back.
Alrighty then. Alright. So, as Leonard is taken through the library, we'll change our perspective over onto Osa, who gains another letter through the mail.
Okay. Great to learn.
Take out.
Alright. As you take the letter, let me get some notes again. As you take the letter, your heart may skip a beat, as your fingers may tremble. As taking the envelope, you see it to be a green envelope with a Clovis stamp over the seal.
Yeah, a little bit shaky, but open it up and read it.
Breaking the Clovis seal, you open up the envelope to reveal a dark green paper underneath. Unfurling the paper, you see it to be a letter addressed to you. And it reads, Dearest Osa, I hope this letter finds you well. It has almost been 4 years since your last visit to our home, and I would enjoy a reunion. News has come to Aoife Canenta about the invasion of outsiders, and I worry for your health. I have discussed with the other members of the tribe about a possible visit from yourself. We are all in agreement. This letter is enchanted to allow you to teleport here if handed to a magi who is able to. Though it is only a permit, you will still need to arrange for teleportation. Though if that is out of reach, you will still find a visit via the oceans. I wish you well, and if I only receive a letter in return, I will understand your feelings about returning here. Love, Sarah.
Would me and Joseph be like in the same vicinity around this time, or
Yeah, you can be.
probably, yeah.
Is everything alright, Osa?
Yeah, remember when you mentioned me visiting home?
Yeah.
I just got a letter from my mama. Think it'd be alright if I went back to visit them. I was hesitant because I didn't know how they would feel about that because of the circumstances of how I left, but it seems like it might be okay.
Would that be something that you would want to do?
Yeah, I guess. I guess she deserves that much at least. Do you wanna come with?
Absolutely.
Okay, we need to probably find a mage to get there, because otherwise it's a long trip across the ocean.
Why don't we try to send a message to the army, because they did say that they would enable us to do that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think we could at least try that. So before we go, should probably warn you a bit. They're not too big on outsiders. And I really hope I'm not reaching when I invited you along, but I know Mama wouldn't mind, but the rest can be standoffish. But it's not
That's
really anything
okay.
personal most of the time.
I won't start anything as long as they don't.
They shouldn't. They're not hostile, just they don't like outsiders.
I'll just be there for your moral support. I won't be there talking to anybody unless they try to talk to me first.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, I guess we should go find a mage then.
Where's the nearest army outpost? Somebody who
Are we currently in Nifel or are we in Stone Shore?
That's a good question.
It's
I'll say you're in Nifel.
yeah. That makes things easier. I guess if we're in Nifel, we just kind of know where to go. If we've been going through back and forth in any way, we should kind of know
Yeah.
how to get there. So we can use the same channels.
Straight to Wedge's office.
You can go to any of the nearby teleportation halls, and since you have the gold lion emblems, you can show them to them and they'll understand.
Oh, okay, that works.
Yeah, I guess we should go. It's really been
Sure.
4 years, huh?
Well, from what I could gather from your backstory, it's
Yeah,
4
I mean,
years.
that's also just reminiscing.
Okay.
I haven't been counting years, so that's fair enough.
So where are we going?
It's in Eva Kanenta.
Before you guys met me, I had never been further than Stone Shore from the main city, so we've already gone much further than I've ever been. So this will be an adventure.
Well, don't have your hopes too up. It's a small place that we're going to.
So Stone Shore.
Out of character, how big is Stone Shore? Like how many people? About seas?
5,000.
Way smaller than that. Like 40, 50 from last I saw.
I've never visited a place quite that small, but
It's less of a village or town or anything, it's more of a community.
it's like 4 families.
Yeah, something like that.
As you go to the teleportation hall, you show off your gold lion emblems, and they bring you over into a more private room. You talk about the specifics of where you're going, as the Venetian, who's actually going to be taking you there, will speak up. Ah, Aoife Canenta. I've not travelled there too many times, mostly on official business. I take it you have a permit to allow us to go there.
Yeah, this letter should allow that.
The Venetian says a few words as his eyes shine over, and he looks over the letter. Yes, it seems to be in order, though there is one too many people here. This letter only allows 2 people, so yourself and the person teleporting.
Oh. I didn't realize that.
Do you have a scroll that we could use?
It's not a matter of having more teleportations. It's Eva Conenta is heavily protected from invaders. If you were to teleport without a permit, it's a very likely chance you won't appear anywhere.
Right, what I'm saying is I have the ability to use a scroll to teleport us to.
Well, it's like you need to have permission to find the place. If you don't have it, you won't be able to find it.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I really didn't know this was the case.
Well, I still think you should go, and I will be with you in my mind at all times.
Thanks, Joe. I did really want you there with me, but didn't realize well, maybe I should have realized they took more precautions than that. It's my fault.
I don't know how long you're going to be gone, but I'll be waiting here for a little while. A couple hours at least.
Don't imagine very long, but yeah, I'll find you either at the house or in Stone Shore somewhere.
Okay.
Joseph leaves the private room, and I take it you're ready to teleport over?
Yep. Let's go.
Alright, linking hands with the Venetian, and with the permit in hand, he enchants the spell just as normal. However, even though you're used to teleportation at this point, the planes you go through are a lot more densely packed, either through a mixture of wind pressure and moisture, or a almost kind of not exactly clawing, but hands kind of pulling you back, trying to stop you from going there. A shining and trembling in your hand is felt as the paper vibrates and shines. The hands kind of collapse away, allowing you to go through, almost as if the paper was a key and the hands were the lock. A whoosh of magic and wind as you land on your feet, and instead of the heavy rock and stonework beneath it, you are treated to leaves and roots. With no metallic or stone overbearing of ceilings or walls, you are opened up fresh to the open air and the mists of the ether tree. The sun up in the sky takes on a dimmer hue, almost as if it was a twin to the sun. It doesn't blind you, though it does give you light as well as heat. Several flickers of light can be seen off in the distance, within the great ether tree itself, as well as the smaller yet still grandiose trees scattered around its base. The washing of the waves on the shore even reach into the midland parts of the Eva Canenta. There is little in the way of noise or light pollution, so sounds and smells travel far. It's a far strike away from what you've become accustomed to at this point. The heavy sounds and the overbearing just presence of people and constructs is nowhere to be seen. And it would be tranquil to most people if you did not leave here on not good terms. The Venetian lets go of your hand as he looks around, the paper in his hand kind of dulled somewhat. It never fades, this. It's always a wonderful experience to return. I shall stay here a while within this. It's not exactly a teleportation hall, but it works. I shall stay here, possibly for a day. Your work for Gargan and Nefel itself is more than enough to have me possibly stay a day or two if you require that amount of time. I wish you well on the Eva Canenta, and if anything does arise, don't feel afraid to give me a shout.
Alright, thanks. I'll look you up when I'm ready to go back. It could take a day or two.
The Memetian sits up at one of the natural benches, a fallen branch from a nearby tree. Though calling it a branch is kind of an understatement, as it's almost as thick as a trunk. He kind of looks around wistfully as he takes off some of the metallic parts of his armor, kind of let himself free to the winds. Looking around, you recognize somewhat the place you teleported to. It's about a 20-minute walk away from your tribe, and it may have some fond memories as a old play area, a place where you weren't told to go to, but you went there anyway.
Yep, I start heading towards the tribe, towards the grove.
Following the old path, you make your way through the forests. It feels never-ending, though it never feels overbearing. It's inviting at all parts. Your metallic armor lets off a cacophony of sound, and you can feel it echoing off into the distance. Almost as if an intrusion by yourself and what you wear, you definitely feel out of place here. The birds in the trees fly off at the sound, though others still chirp, as some of them may recognize you from your earlier days here. The pitter-patter of feet can be heard off in the distance, your eyes going to the dirt floors. You can see the footprints of younger Viera leading off into your grove. Reaching through a clearing of the trees, you open up into a wide plain area, flanked by trees creating a smooth circle, houses up on high on the branches, as well as a few hovels near the floor. People are milling about their normal everyday business. It is bustling with activity, with people doing craft work like knitting or carpentry. Children run around the streets playing games, at which point you can make a perception check.
Beautiful timing.
All of the senses are open. As you look around, investigating the local vicinity as well as the children playing games, it seems that the children are playing a game called Queen and Hunters. The Queen has to find the hunters who are overhunting the animals of the forest and arrest them. A similar game to hide and seek. The Queen is doing very well at her job, wielding a wooden axe. She shouts out at another hunter.
By the decree of Queen Greentail, you are arrested for poaching.
Did you say green tail?
The grey tail.
Grey tail, oh. Oh. So she kind of pauses a little bit taken aback by that, but keeps on moving and starts heading towards where she used to live to find Sarah there.
You make your way through the streets, though there aren't too many and they aren't too long. People do kind of stop what they're doing as they look over to you, hushed whispers here and there. And as you make your way towards your old house, you will see a Guardo moving about the streets. A tall man with pockmarks across his cheeks. His yellow eyes and ruffled brunette hair betray him as Vargas, one of the children who used to fight and ostracize you within both of your youths. Though now, instead of his ragged attire, he is clothed in a long robe with symbols of Maduin. And it's up to you if you used to roll knowledge religion. You can do this untrained.
I can try. Religion?
Yes. Alright, you're unsure what Marjuin is all about. The Guardo notices you going across the streets and picks up the pace a bit as he walks towards you.
Kinda stop and wait for him to catch up.
He kind of does a halfway between a curtsy and a bow to you. Welcome home, Osa. It is wonderful to see you amongst the trees once more. What brings you to the grove?
Vargas. Well, I'm here to see Mama.
Of course. I do remember the Circle of the Clover discussing your return. I was not expecting it to be so soon, however.
I didn't have a whole lot going on, so figured I'd come as soon as I can.
Vargas looks at you from head to toe, a quizzitive look about him. You have changed much in these past 4 years, Osa. Much taller than I remember.
I could say the same to you.
Yes. Time does change us all. I only wish it does all for the better. But yes. There was something I meant to tell and give to you if you were ever to return.
What's that?
Might you have a moment, maybe 5 minutes? I would wish to take you to my house. There's something there I wish to gift onto you.
Sure, I think I can do 5 minutes.
Wonderful. Please, it's this way. He waves his hand to the side and leads you towards his house. As the Guardo Vargas takes you across the streets, visions and memories fill your mind and your eyes. You look towards little circles dug into the roads or the paths, as you remember times where you used to play with the other kids, sometimes we used to play hide and seek, or the other times where you used to brawl and fight with the others. A more anger-filled memory comes back, as you remember when Vargas was much taller than you. He is still a bit taller, but not by much at this point, where he used to push you around, and one day where he pushed you too hard, you fell to the ground, and in your rage, you attacked him back.
Mm-hmm.
You continue to follow Vargas as he leads you to a modest house amongst the branches of the trees. Opening up, he allows you to enter in with him, and he tells you to wait by the door as he fetches something from his room.
She'll wait. Look around while she's waiting.
As Vargas leaves to an adjoining room, you look around the entrance to his house. It seems to be a very condensed and concise building. The entrance is combined with the kitchen, dining, and living room. A very small part of his house. The larger parts seem to be upstairs into another room. The furnishings are very bare, and it doesn't seem like he's gathered too much in his time. A few symbols towards Majiwin are kind of dotted around. He comes back shortly with a small lockbox in his hand. As he walks up to you, and holds it in both his hands as he looks down to it and up to you.
Hold up my hat. Or, go ahead.
I know it mustn't have been too easy within your youth. Being amongst all of us, a Burmesian where there's not many of those here. It did not help any more that when my own actions and bullying would affect you so. Looking back on it, there was definitely times I wish I would have stepped back or held my tongue. If I could pay for a Time Mage's abilities, I would definitely go back and change a few actions. I wish to apologize for how I treated you back then. It was not right, and nobody deserves such. I hope this can be seen as a peace offering. I've held onto it for a few years now, and sadly you were gone from this continent before I was able to give it to you. He hands you the box. As you can see, it's already unlocked.
She'll take the box, but doesn't open it immediately. We were all kids back then, and can't exactly fault you all for being like you were. I'm not gonna lie and say I enjoyed it or whatever, but I wasn't making it easy for you lot either. I appreciate the gesture. And she opens the box.
As you open up the box, you feel as if your heart takes a few steps upwards and your hands maybe start to tremble. As inside the lockbox is a long piece of thick cloth. It seems to be the old hair tie you used to have. A very bulky blue-coloured scarf with green trimming around it. You remember one day when Bargus attacked you? He pulled it from your hair and snapped it in two, one part falling to the mud and the other he stole. You were never able to get it back, and you pretty much forgot about it until now. But it seems almost as if it was new.
Just kind of silently stared for a moment before looking back up to Barkas wide-eyed, like shocked.
I know it's not the most befitting gift to someone of your profession now. I have heard you are much more of a protector, guardian, and hunter. A hair tie may not be more battle-orientated, but I hope the sentiment is there, and that you may cherish it, and that it may bury the hatchet, so it were.
No, this... really don't know what to say. She just kind of picks up the hair tie and takes off like a small section of her hair and ties it around that. Not a full ponytail, but like a little side thing to leave it hanging there in the hair, in her hair. Thank you.
You see the smile on Bargus widen a bit. I'm glad you can accept this gift. And even if it may irritate you so, I wish to add another apology to the pile I am creating.
What do you mean?
No, he's just saying he's sorry again.
Yeah, okay.
He's just being like very eloquent about it.
Yeah, okay. I really appreciate it. I admit I was really nervous to come back, even if it was straight invitation from Mama, but in a way it's good to see you two again. It's good to be back, even if it's only for a little bit.
Again, my apologies if I was any sort of the reason why you felt you could not return. You're always welcome amongst these trees, and I would never have any say against it.
Thank you.
But
After, yeah, even after everything that happened, I think this could still be home.
I'm glad you see so, Osa.
I should probably go and see Mama now. She might be waiting for me.
Yes, I will not keep you. If you are intending to stay here for a while, I am free for the rest of the day if you wish to talk about recent events. A few things have happened here, though I'm sure you have grander stories to tell.
I might just take you up on that offer at some point. I don't know how long I'll be here. I'm kind of promised a friend to be back fairly soon, but...
If you wish to send a message outside of these areas, I have a friend who could send him a message instantly.
Okay, that's good to know. I'll meet with Mama first and see what I'll do.
Well then, I shall see you soon, Osa. Fair travels to your mother's home.
Thanks, Vargas. You take care as well. Turns out to leave.
You leave Vargas's home, and to not make the situation awkward, he seems to stay at his house for a bit, as not to pass you on the street again. He wasn't exactly walking on the way to his house, but he's going to change his plans for the day.
Fair enough.
Stepping out onto the trunk of the trees, with the thin scarf within your hair, you feel as if the trees are a bit more accepting of you, almost as if you go to more towards hide and leather rather than anything before. Taking the trunks, you move a bit further up until you reach your mother's house. The door is closed, and there seems to be a box just to the side, but the box has been opened. If you wish to peer inside, you'll see several slips of paper. It seems there was a vote that took place at some point.
Walk up to the door and give it a light knock.
You knock on the door, and you can hear some footsteps inside. It's not too loud around here except from the children playing around. A few moments pass and the door will open up as you see a elderly Vieira whose hair has long since turned grey, wrinkles covering her face and her ears starting to sag a bit atop her head. The old woman looks at you, and you see her eyes widen quickly in surprise as little beads of water start to appear in the corners of her eyes. Elsa,
Mama.
you got my letter.
Yeah, I kind of came as soon as I got it.
Zera latches out as she grabs a hold of you. One hand on the back of your head and the other like the top of your back. She hugs you tightly.
And she also hugs her back.
As you hug onto your mother, you realize she is a lot shorter than what you remember. It's either you've gotten much taller, she's shrunk, or a combination of the two. She lets go as you can feel some kind of moisture on your tunic as she starts to rub her eyes. I wasn't expecting a visit so quickly. Please, come in, come in. I can get some tea going for us.
Yeah, sorry it took so long to kind of reach out to.
Oh, no, it's no trouble, darling. I know there's not been too many fond memories here, but you're here now. No need to dredge up past.
She hops quickly to a nearby room as she starts to boil some water. As you're within the entrance area, you're in kind of like a long corridor that goes off to several rooms. And you can roll a perception check, which I think you're just going to succeed.
I mean, probably. I'm gonna roll it anyway.
As you're within this entrance foyer, you can see that there is a desk just off to the sides with a mirror atop it. Well, actually on the wall above it, sorry. Atop the desk sits several framed pictures and newspapers laden across it. Do you wish to investigate the table?
I'll take a peek, but I can kind of guess what they might be about.
If you take a peek, you'll be able to see a few of the paintings that were done of you from the arena at Sraken, as well as a few newspapers all about you, as well as just pictures of you in the news.
News really traveled far, huh? Kinda yells after her.
She speaks up from the kitchen areas. You can hear the bubbling of the water. Yeah, it's I took a few trips to the capital. We needed some work being done, and they had those around. Words travels fast about your deeds, dear.
I'll never get used to that. And she follows deeper and like, she knows where the kitchen or the sitting room or whatever would be, so she just goes there.
As you go to the sitting room, it's even more evident that your mother wasn't expecting you, as there seems to be some more official documents laid out across the table. And you can roll perception if you want to. You can't fail it. But you'll notice on the table there is a long order of a parchment, and it has several names written on it. You can notice several of the names, but it's up to you if you wish to be nosy and read.
She won't. It's probably Mama's and Council business, so she won't be too nosy about it.
All right.
Sorry if my
Sitting down.
I'm sorry if my arrival caused troubles.
Yeah, don't think of anything like that, dear. She comes into the room with 2 mugs of tea as she hands one to you. The scent is overwhelmingly pleasant, as you remember the house used to be filled with that when you used to live here.
So how you been?
Oh, I've been busy with a lot of official business. We've been accepting many newcomers to the continent. I was recently ahead of a movement to open up to more species. Thankfully, lots of the community here, both from our own cohabitation, were able to put in a major vote to overrule some of the local laws.
That should be good. No diversity never hurt anyone, I think.
Of course, of course. The first part we made was we had a major rush of immigrants of the Venetian race. And then we had a few Aegils who came here on pilgrimage. Their lower lifespan led them to wanting to search for something more spiritual and something to aid them in their shorter time on this realm.
Certainly a good place for that.
Yes, and their knowledge of the outside world has definitely helped increase the proficiency of our building techniques. We still do have a few issues with people cutting too many trees down or going too far into the woods for them, but we easily get those settled. But what about you? How was your travel here? Did you have anything going on today that I might have interrupted?
Oh no, it's been kind of quiet lately, so that's why I figured I'd just kind of come as soon as I can. Basically, as soon as I got the letter.
Well, it's nice to hear you're having some downtime to yourself.
Yeah, it's been quiet. Then we were talking about home with a friend of mine, so that's kind of why it was in the front of my mind anyway.
Well, you said you came here immediately. Has the anxiousness about returning here washed away, or did something happen?
Well, I mean, it wasn't easy, but I didn't want to see you because I figured it's been long. And I'm really sorry about that. I was meaning to write, but I didn't know what to say, and yeah.
It's all right, Osa. You're here now. Though, going forward, feel free to write anything, even telling me about what happened during the day.
Yeah, I'll try to do that.
I assumed you wanted some space after the events that transpired here, so I was reluctant to send you a letter myself, so I cannot stand on too much of a high ground.
That's fair, and I know you're always busy with the council stuff anyway, so I don't want to take anything away from that. These people are important too. Speaking of, I ran into Bargas on my way here.
Ah yes, he's turned out to be a wonderful man. Did you patch things up?
Yeah, I think so. He gave this back to me, and she kind of pulls the scarf, show up the scarf on her hair.
Ah, that's beautiful. I remember when I gave you that.
Yeah, he apparently kept it and fixed it. Really didn't expect that to happen, but yeah.
I should make sure to thank him when I next see him. Did he tell you about the vote for you returning at all?
He mentioned it briefly, and I kind of noticed a box of slips outside the door. How did that go?
Oh, it went fine. I suppose if you're asking, you wish to know the answer. We had only 2 nays. We had 48 yays, so an overwhelming and resounding yes for you to return.
Okay, that's good at least. I know there were many in the council who didn't like me back then. Not for entirely wrong about that, but
Well, hopefully my drudging into their heads have finally flushed out those evil thoughts of theirs. Or they heard about your deeds outside of this continent. You've made quite a name, as well as a very wonderful reputation. Saving people's lives, returning lost items, saving the world even.
yeah, I guess that happened, huh? Still kind of hard to think of things being that grand. I never really set out for this to be famous or anything. Just wanted to help people.
She moves over to the seat beside you and, oh, my headset died. 1 second. Okay, good. Thankfully, I have 2 headsets I can use. I may need to change my Discord one though. 1 second. Okay, someone speak?
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, good. Yeah, that works. I sadly decided not to charge my headset last night, so my wireless one's dead. What was I saying?
You said she was moving around the table.
Oh, yeah. She's moving around to sit beside you as she links her hand in yours. You've done wonderful things for the world, and I assume you'll be doing much more. Though I do wish you wouldn't fight so many harsh battles.
I mean, someone has to, right?
Yes, I know, and I would not stop you, but it won't stop me worrying.
Well, truth be told, it's not all been wonderful. There's been setbacks too.
Yes, we cannot have the good without the bad. Leavetree also always tells us on how the balance works. The Guado here are very attuned with the souls of the dead, and the stories that are to be told, they do paint a half and half picture.
During my, well, I guess latest thing, I kind of met someone who was very obsessed with their dead family. And I don't know if we did the right thing or not, but when we had the chance, we decided to let the family move on. And the man didn't exactly take it well.
It is not my place to say if that was the right or the bad choice. All we can know is that it's a choice that you made.
Yeah, that's what I think too. But it's just kind of thinking about stuff like that every now and again. Just that's what you always taught me, that we shouldn't keep people if they don't want to be kept. It's all part of the circle, the cycle.
And that is what makes you the best type of person. You think about what you do. And even if you've done the thing you wanted, you continue to think about it. You must always go with a head full of ideas and not go without anything in there. At least then you know you did your best.
Yeah, I try.
As you are speaking with your mother and drinking your tea, I take it you are drinking it.
Yeah, she is drinking it.
Alright, I need you to make me a will save. Yes,
Yeah, sure.
your mother poisoned you.
Play your game.
It's a low roll.
As you speak with your mother, it's not the tea. You don't have to worry. You continue to talk about the past events, both from here as well as your time in the on the continent of Gargan. At which point, from nowhere, you feel a rush of emotions flow through you, from your stomach to your heart and then to your head. A rush of blood and rage fills you as your eyes cover over in wrath. And I need you to give me a d4 roll, please. Okay, give me 1 second.
I swear to God, if I kill my own mother,
I would never do that.
I will ruin the rest of this campaign even before it starts.
Alright. Need to find the correct song for this. As the wave of emotion froze over your body and your eyes gloss over in wrath, a second passes and your vision fades and changes to a new locale. The ether tree that normally protects against most storms and winds and rains has now let in a terrible thunderstorm. Rains pitter-patter on the feet as the roots soak up the waters, engorging and enlarging, cutting off paths that are normally completely let open. Crackles of thunder can be heard up above as dashes of light cross the skies. Instead of being within the living room of your house with your mother hand in hand, you're in the streets, your axe at your side. And you need to make me another will save. Alright, that is the one you probably wish you had at this level, yes. Alright, you saved. You look around, and the streets are littered with the bodies of the villagers. You look around as your body starts to shake and freeze over. You're thinking in your head, you couldn't have done this. This wasn't you. They aren't dead. You slowly creak your head over to your axe, it in your hand, expecting to see blood dripping to the floor and hoping it's not there. And then another wave of emotion comes over you. But this time, it is of relief and thanking to whatever god you pray to. Your axe is on the reverse side. There is no blood to be seen. You look around, the waters muddying your eyes and washing over the clothing of the villagers. You see no blood, but you do see breathing. About a dozen of them have been knocked out, as you can hear screaming, laughter, and shouts of anger all across the streets. Your eyes dart side to side. You see villagers fighting villagers, wooden spoons, farming tools, or fists of fury. The town is rioting. In this moment, you're unsure why or how, because these people are normally very calm, especially the adults. They never fight one another. As you look around, the time of day, where the sun is, you feel like 2 hours have passed, and the people below you on the floor are possibly what you did within the 2 hours. The nearby buildings are not exactly destroyed, but they're very badly damaged. You can see inside the homes of many of the people, and then you hear a ringing in your ears and a voice calling to you.
Osa, it's Joseph. Things are bad. I need you to get back here as soon as you can. I'll be in Stone Shore.
I start looking around to see if I can find Mama anywhere among the people on the ground or fighting.
Give me a perception. You look around, hoping to have any sort of sight of your mother. A second goes by, a second more, as you continue to be filled with She's fine. She's fine. She can't be gone. You look up into the trees, into the houses you can. You then hear the shouting of a familiar, newfound friend. Vargas is calling out magical enchantments, and you look through a brush of leaves. You see Vargas holding a symbol of Maduin, shining a bright yellow. He seems to be fine. His eyes aren't glossed over, and he seems to be turning any who come to him to sleep. And you see by his side your mother, Sarah. They're kind of linked, like arm in arm where the elbow is, just so they don't lose each other. It seems both of them are able to resist whatever happens, and they're trying to calm down those that they can find.
To immediately beeline towards them.
You run towards Vargas and Zera as 3 more of the villagers come charging at you, fists raised up high and wooden instruments in hand.
I just guess if they come too close, I just try to shove them down on the ground.
Alright, give me strength.
As little damage as possible.
You dart side to side, and when they get too close, you give a solid open palm to their chests, winding them as your muscles are much more progressed than many others. As you push them to the floor, they don't seem to get up, and if they do, they're too slow to catch up with you. At which point I need you to make me an acrobatics check.
I'm not very agile.
You continue making your way through the leaves and branches, though you weren't too great at jumping in your childhood, and it takes you quite some time to make your way through the brushes. You eventually make your way to Vargas and Sarah as 7 more bodies lay at their feet, though snoring heavily, letting you know that they're still alive, though they're probably going to be asleep for a good few minutes. Vargas looks up to you, sweats across his brow and moistening his locks of hair, and Zera also looking over to you. Her eyes start to kind of shake a bit and widen as she is full of fear.
Immediately, I drop my axe and raise my hand like I'm not going to attack you, but what is going on?
Good, you're back to normal. You flew into a fit of rage. You threw the cup across the room. I thought I might have said something, but it seems to be affecting everyone. Everyone's gone mad. Vargas then looks over to you. It seems the most willful of us were able to fight back against whatever's affecting us. Myself being a cleric, I was able to fight it back. Your mother also being a druid. It seems your faculties were taken away from you. But these villagers, there's so many, and I don't think many of them were able to resist it.
I think I got a message from my friend. He's back in Garkin, and he's also said that things aren't fine there, so whatever this is, could this be affecting everything?
Zera throws off another sleep spell as a villager comes charging down. She looks towards you. If it affected a village this small, it's possible it could affect larger. It's such a wide area. I would hate to think what is happening in the capital. But yes, if your friend says so, it may be true. It'd be best if you go to them. We can handle things here.
Are you sure? I don't wanna leave you when things are strange.
Vargas throws his hand into his pocket and he throws a small symbol towards you. You to make a reflex save or acrobatics, whichever you think is highest.
Absolutely, my reflex. It's not great either, but it's better than my acrobatics.
Alright. You're more than easily enough to capture the symbol from the air of your hand. And as you look upon it, it is a long horn. Each side has veins going from the bottom to the tip. The left side is blue, the right side is yellow. And you don't know religion, so you failed it before, so this is the same kind of thing. Take that symbol and go. May Majin be with you.
Okay. Stay safe, both of you.
Zera perks up. We'll be fine, dear. Save your friends.
She looks like she's about to say something else, but just nods and calls her axe back to her hand and starts booking towards where the permission may or may not be.
Alright, give me another acrobatics, please.
It's gonna go so well. It's one higher.
Charging away from your mother and Bart, you make your way through the village. Though, just as before getting up here, it's a very hard trail for you to take. The roots engorging, moving around and splitting off make the terrain very uneven or just completely blocking it, forcing you to do you have a climb speed?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Forcing you to slowly clamber over them or find other directions. At some points, you are even forced to move through the damaged buildings of the villages. You pass by more and more of the bodies, though since everyone here is using bludgeoning weapons, they don't exactly have normal weapons. They're not used to fighting. Pretty much all of them are just knocked out. You don't see any corpse whatsoever, though they'll definitely have a headache when they do wake up. And at a darting speed, you should have got back there in probably 5-10 minutes, though just due to being very terrible at this terrain, it takes you closer to 20 to get back to the small hut you teleported to. Making your way there, the rain continues to rage on as the strips of lightning across the sky light up silhouettes off in the distance, as you can see it affecting people in trees far, far away. Getting back to the hut, you see no signs of anyone attacking this. It was kind of out of the way. And inside, you can see the Burmesian still sitting atop the log, a staff in hand, and his other hand outstretched to the door. He notices you enter, and his hand starts to sparkle with lightning.
Immediately again drop my weapon and raise my hands like, come at peace, I won't hurt you. Are you okay?
Thank God. Yes. I felt the magical energy pulse through this area. I had to take magic up. I like to see the sprites flying around. But there was this weird explosion. A wave of magic across the whole, at least the whole of what I could see. It was a model. Illusion? Enchantment? So many schools. But it seemed like it affected minds. You're fine, yes?
I'm fine now, but my home... I hope it's gonna be okay. I need to go to Stone Shore. Can you take me there?
Stone Shore, that's a marsh. South of Nivelle, yes?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I've been there once. I took this weird guy, Wonart, he liked fish too much. I can take you there.
Yeah, exactly that guy. If you can take me to him, that's great.
His hand stops sparkling as he just, kind of rotates his hand to put it underhand to have you grab onto it.
Yeah, I can get my axe back and grab onto his hand.
You grab a hold of his hand and he speedily enchants the words over and over. At which point, you teleport away and you feel those hands gripping onto you again, trying to stop you from pushing past the barrier. However, this time, instead of the normal calm hands that are just like a warning, they turn into claws as you feel sharp pangs dig into your shoulders and your arms, and you feel a not exactly heat, but a pressure all across your body as they really does not want to let you go. At which point, the Venetian who teleported you here continues to enchant a different spell as both of you start to light up with lightning and fire. And you feel as if it kind of stings a bit, but you know it's to be on your side. The hands dart away as they kind of like crumple around you, and you push through the barrier. A shattering of glass and a sonic boom erupts as you appear within the skies. Not too high up, about 50 feet, though it's going to be a heavy landing as you see the ground fast approaching.
Is the formation with me?
Yeah, the formation is still linked hands with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll around, so I'm gonna cushion his fall. Or try to.
Alright, so you forfeit your reflex and just take the damage for him?
Yeah.
Alright, you kind of roll over and give him a half-assed hug, because that's the only way you can do this.
Yeah.
As you land onto the solid ground beneath you. Your vision fades to black as we go to somebody else's perspective. We now turn over to another, not exactly new adventurer. You can tell by the graying of his beard as well as his shaved head that this man has seen almost enough adventures in his life. Sitting at a prime of 56 years old, this Hume is deep in study of a local library. And Jack B, do you want to give us a description of your character and who he is?
Okay, so first off, he doesn't look like the picture. Unfortunately, this is just a placeholder, so we'll get that sorted out. But he is a 56-year-old Hume. He has dark, sort of greyed hair and a dark grey beard. He has quite a leathered face, just from time in the world, really, and being an ex-adventurer. He's got green eyes, but they're not natural green anymore, and they make short clicks when he looks around. He's wearing a set of military trousers and boots just out of comfort, along with a jacket and a shirt. He has faded tattoos of various different arcane symbols over his forearms for the different schools that he covers, and his legs also click when he walks.
This construct of a man, thankfully, no longer has to worry about those clicks as he sits at a desk. Several large tomes are sprawled out across a desk alongside smaller scrolls that have recently been scribbled. The air smells of fresh oil and paint, as well as ink sitting beside you on all ends. A nearby candle flickers with a flame, and whilst you don't need the light, it does aid at some points. The ceiling and the upper floor has several stained glass windows that let in the light from outside. Recently, Iskandar has been commissioned by the army of Nefel, mostly due to his previous military background and contracts. He has been tasked with putting the pieces together. Aeon Gaia has seen quite a few in the way of both attacks on a grandiose scale, as well as that from individuals with more power than they should normally hold. You've been spending a few times in this library owned by the army. You will notice it by the more up-to-date information as well as locks across some of the bookshelves. A set of keys granted to you by Lieutenant Colonel Wedge. You've been scribbling and searching through these tomes as it comes up to the most recent events. Your first tome is surrounded on a crimson materia. You read about a local doctor and researcher by the name of Dr. Richabod Altfeist, a aging Aegel, though For you, not so much of an aging, as the Aegil barely live above 30. Since he was dying to old age, he was scurrying and hurrying towards a way to extend his lifespan, though all of his leads were dying off just as quickly as he was. He eventually came across a theory, one he put into practice most heinously. He had the idea that he could possibly transfer the remaining lifespan of a creature onto himself, though in doing so would completely and utterly destroy that person, possibly also removing their mana from the life cycle. To this end, he kidnapped a local red mage by the name of Gefwin Carver. This happened on the 7th of February. Reading over the details, it seemed he was very close to enacting and finishing this plan. Gefwin Carver was turned into a crimson materia, her whole entire being forced into a small glass materia, because that's what materia are. Was possibly one, maybe even 2 steps away from achieving his goal, but was stopped by Investigator Biggs, who you'll know as a local celebrity who is to be the star of the world's first movie, A Big Situation. After his apprehension, Gefwin Carver was released from the Crimson Materia, and so it's not known if it was a success. It seems from Rookerbod's outrage against Biggs and his allowance to fighting back led a lot of the people who had information about this whole debacle that it was going to work, but no one will ever know. Dr. Rookerbod soon died after due to his old age. It seemed he only had a few months left in him. It's unsure if his local activities sped up his death just due to using more energy or not. As you can gather, it seemed he was very envious of other races' longer lifespans, possibly leading him to increase his research. Sometime later, another event occurred, though unlike the first. The Troll Queen Zara, on the 7th of March, started to gather up the local clans of trolls in the northern part of Gargan, taking control off of them and consolidating them into a larger force. It was to be assumed, as well as documented, that she had around 50 trolls under her command. With the information gathered by a group known maybe later as Backup Plan, their names being written down at the point when they went against the Troll Queen Zara, went to her camp and found out that it was apparently her tribe that was attacked first, being accosted by the Nefel army. And so Zara retaliated, which led to retaliation and retaliation. Her attacks and gathering of troops was quickly, well, not quickly, but it was ended swiftly by a Mughal by the name of Remilar, who was able to, using his diplomacy, work out a contract between the trolls and Nefel, basically allowing them to become not exactly partners. The trolls did get a lesser deal in the whole ordeal, but that was more to the side of Remilar being a very good diplomat. He was able to get a very good deal on his side. And so the trolls became into the employ of Gargan, essentially, setting them up as bodyguards, muscle, as well as just manual laborers due to their humongous strength. Reading into this whole ordeal, you can see lots of pride and superiority over other clans and races, as well as to fight back against the people killing her tribe. Even more time later, you read about a third incident revolving around a manor off towards the east, owned by the Deroganar clan of Bangar. Deroganar the 7th, Deroganar the 8th hired several adventurers, possibly 3 or 4 dozen of them, to go to his manor and return some items, though it quickly turned from a treasure hunt to a fight against outsiders, as the manor had grotesquely changed its denizens as well as its owner into monstrous beings, both outsiders and just monstrous humanoids. Most of the people sent off to Daragonar Manor did not return, though a reoccurring theme starts to pick up here, as the later named backup plan was the one who were able to defeat Daragonar the Second, a very, very old Bangar who had formed with his manor, both increasing his longevity and his strength, turning the manor itself into a humongous aberration. Destroying the manor allowed Backup Plan even more rewards from the army, as they were eventually taken under their employ on more of a contract basis. Daragonar II showed a heavy amount of wrath against the Elvan, due to the Elvan invading Gargan and killing many of his family members. A fourth and most recent event, and probably the least documented so far, is that of Vizin Vyib, also titled as Titan Backbreaker. She had killed a Titan Primal single-handedly, and either through her own means or outside interference, gained the ability and knowledge to absorb mana into herself. Doing so, she absorbed the Primal of Titan into her, increasing her own power. This led to forming her group of the Divine Destroyers. The main aim of this group was to enter Vizin Vyib into the pantheon of deities and essentially kill it from within. Vizin Vyib, as well as her lieutenants of Dranben, Shir, and Azaim, all had tragic pasts, either from their families being killed or their good deeds being washed away by the evil deeds of others. Vizin Vyib herself having her husband and child die, and almost all of the villages she aided destroyed along the way. They all thought that the gods were doing too much evil, and that evil should not be allowed to exist within their plane, and thus destroying the pantheon would allow them to create a perfect world without sadness, pain, poverty, disease, and whatnot. They create a utopia. Though many of the historians, magi, and magically inclined people of the Nefel army were able to reach a communal decision that if the pantheon was to be destroyed, that the deities, who are basically situated in seats of power for each domain, would destroy the world. As if Leviathan is not there to control the seas, they would ravage the land. If Garuda is not there to control the winds, there would be no oxygen, and so forth. The world and all of existence would have been destroyed. And yet again, this is actually where Backup Plan got their team name, as they infiltrated the Divine Destroyers, gaining their trust and eventually stopping Vizin Vyib's rise into power. Though during the confrontation, Vizin Vyib perished and her body turned back into mana. As you look over the reports, you see quite a bit of lust for the happiness of the world, as well as a deep wanting for any lack of pain within the world. Looking over the reports, the times, the locations, you see a few matching pieces. Every one of these have heavy emotions behind their actions. If they're well thought out or reasonable, it's up to debate, but something was driving each and every one of them. And the time between each of these events was around 1 to 2 months. It's been 2 months since the last event with Vizin Vyib. And as you look upon them, what do you gather in information? What kind of threads are you pulling out?
Do you want me to roll for something like that, or do you want me to just
No.
try and make my own?
Theorize.
My. Well, it seems there's some kind of force in the world reacting to maybe not moral, but great emotional swells in remarkable individuals. And it seems the more intense the emotion, the more power they gain. This Vizimvia, for instance. The Troll Queens are... There must be some kind of influence on the world which is causing these people to gain their abilities. No normal... Well, anything should be able to pull off these feats. And interestingly, this backup plan, I wonder if they're affected by this phenomenon to grow in such fame and prestige to stop each of these individuals. That's it so far.
Okay. As you're reading over the tomes and theorizing, footsteps start to echo through the library as a very tall and staunchy aura makes his way through. You recognize him as the man who allows you entrance into here, as well as a right-hand man of Lieutenant Colonel Wedge himself. Under one of his arms is a large spherical orb, swirling with blue mist. The other his grand staff that he just walks along with. Iskandar, how goes the reading?
He will look up from the books and his musings. Oh, it's not too bad at all. I don't even know how long I've been here, to be completely honest, but the connections seem to be coming together. Have you found anything?
No. Sadly, the years have not come to me as yet. We approached you for your wizened nature. Although I was able to get this orb for you. It is a grand divination artifact. You'll be able to see the whole world through it, as well as use any magics you wish to detect and divine. Hopefully it allows you to pinpoint locations, and maybe, just maybe, it'll allow you to coordinate their origin.
It would be excellent, thank you. I think I'll start with the locations of these four, well, let's call them arch emotions. And maybe even backup plan? He'll look over. Have you met them? They seem to be at the heart of all of these events.
Ringdash sets the orb onto the table as he looks up to you, a raised eyebrow, and he doesn't betray much of his emotion on his face. It's very stoic. Yes, I've dealt with backup plan on many occasions. They are trusted allies of the Fell, as well as Lieutenant Colonel Wedge.
I don't doubt their integrity, Ringdash. I'm just wondering if they're connected to this somehow. I do wonder if possibly that it's not the arch emotions which are the locus, even, of these anomalies, but maybe it's them. They're always there. Always at the crux of it. But yeah,
Well,
sorry, go on.
Well, you can at least blame us for their involvement with the Troll Queen, as well as Vizimvia herself. It is us that sent us against them.
True. But you could have picked a number of well-known parties, but it was always them. Almost like it was meant to be. I would like to meet them at one point. They sound interesting.
Possible we could arrange such. Though
Makes
these
me
are,
think of...
though
Sorry, go
these arch emotions you speak of, is there anything that's missing? Anything we can expect to see?
Well, if anything, they have connections almost. If you could think of Archibald as greed, Zara as pride, I can't pronounce. Tredegear?
Deraganar.
Deraganar as gluttony, Vizenvieb as wrath. You could almost imagine that they are embodiments of sins.
I'm gonna let you make a intelligence check, but I think you'll pass. Alright, Richabod was envy, Zara was pride, Deraganar was wrath, and Vizinviab was lust.
Ah, okay. I thought that might be the case, but fair enough, sorry. Right. Well, we are missing a few of the sins then, if that's the case. I would imagine it would follow itself all through to 7. I just worry they're getting stronger, and this last one almost succeeded.
It's hard to say if they're growing stronger with each passing month, or it's the emotion that behind them that gives them that strength. But if so, what's giving them these powers? Deities?
I think it might be... maybe a deity. He'll stroke his beard and scratch the side of the head where he's got a cybernetic implant. Maybe something developing. Maybe a deity who hasn't really come to light yet. Or something darker. I do not know. I've never experienced this thing. But if my early adventure days in ancient runic exploration have taught me anything, it's to be ready for the unexpected.
Well, I suppose you'd best use this orb, see what you can find, and give you the locations of where each of those ended their paths.
That would be excellent. I think a bird's eye view is exactly what we need.
As you walk towards the orb, almost as if your mind was controlling it, the blue mist swirls around and fades away as it reveals the continent of Gargan.
Now let's see here. And... God, what have I got? I mean, I could literally use discern location for each of these places if you want. If that makes it easier.
Yeah, sure, that'll work.
Just so it's in there. That's an esoteric, so we need to pay 1 extra MP.
Is that 1 minute or 10 minutes?
Oh, that's 10 minutes casting time. Sorry.
Okay. Alright. As you look over the orb, as well as the documents, and then finally Regandas telling you the location they were last at before they died, you can indeed see that Richabod, Deraganar, and Vizinvia have all perished. Their locations are no longer discernible on this plane. However, Zara is currently a bit north of Nifel, possibly working alongside them as their contract continues to flow through. And which point you do notice that even though discern location, or just tells you location, I'll assume you're using other magics as well. Via the use of detect magic, you can see that Zara has a overwhelming kind of aura surrounding her.
Intriguing. Zara is the only one left alive of the sins who have been manifested. It would be intriguing to speak to her, maybe understand if these powers have not worn off. I can see the auras, but weakened maybe because of her time passing, or are they growing stronger?
You can roll spellcraft.
Alright. My one good skill.
It better be as mage. Alright, looking over the aura and the information given from Regandas, you can tell that the aura is surrounding her, but it's not on her. It's almost as if it's slowly fading away from her body, but you can definitely see the signs that it has been there.
It is as I suspect. These arch emotions are being marked by something, almost like a conduit of the Sid itself. Although they think they're doing these for noble purpose, or at least once for their people, they are like doorways, almost.
Well, it's definitely troubling to hear that they have such a connection. And if they are getting stronger, we better find a better force for the fifth. Though, as you say, maybe backup plan will find them still in the midst of it again.
I would recommend them. They have a good track record. And maybe even I'll take to the field for once. Nephilim is looking after the children, and I'm feeling the starts of wanderlust again.
If you feel it best that you be on the ground, your wizened attitude is invaluable amongst these books.
Maybe so, but we all have to get out sometime. One day, I'll not be able to leave places like this, regardless of how much I replace of myself. I'm getting old, Ringdas. I just want one more time.
I can only promise that there'll be plenty of fights to be had.
Oh. Well, I won't be fighting anything up close if I can help it. This artificial ticker isn't going to keep the blades away too much.
As you speak with Regandas and look over the orb and the note, you then hear two sets of footsteps approaching, both of them clad in armor and clinking along in the hallways, as a larger-than-life woman in full plate and a smaller-than-you man approaches.
Ah, hello. It's been some time. You have a guest. Who is this, young man you have with you?
Let me introduce myself. The name's Leonard O'Quinn, but people call me Leo. Just a bit easier to say.
Take you up on that, Leo, if you don't mind. My old friend is also called Leo. It brings back memories. My name is Iskandor. My last name, let me just get it up because I only wrote it earlier. Iskandor Vedica. You didn't happen to go to Nifl Academy, do you? I remember seeing your name on a few of the detention reports I used to file.
Well, no. As a matter of fact, no. I haven't been to any schools.
Interesting. I will. Well, it's fantastic to meet you. You seem like you can swing that sword. Are you my, well, bodyguard, I suppose?
He kind of sniggers. If that's what you want to call it, yeah. You can be sure that no harm will come your way when I'm around.
You see, Ringdas. Althera has my best interests at heart, and this capable young man will keep me safe. You can let me go from the books for a while, can't you?
I can't say. It'll be the best time without you here. There's plenty within the army that aren't really suited for book reading.
I'm sure my children can assist at the very least.
Leo will kind
And
of
you're
walk up
here.
to Regan Das and say, "Don't worry, sir. I'll make sure his Kandor here comes back safe and sound when his quest is finished."
You see,
Rigadas looks down to you. He kind of like tiptoes over to look at the sword on your back. That'll do. Alfera will then speak up. So, have you deduced the origins of the powers these creatures are gaining?
they seem to be powered by high states of emotion, coming into a darker form in the medium of sins. I've managed to determine, and I'll go through the list of each of them and saying which sin they are corresponding to. I've even found that the Troll Queen Zara's pride power, shall we call it that, has started to dissipate, as though it was a conduit and now it is finished. I can only assume through the timeline. I don't know if there's a blackboard in here, but I guess I'll just kind of like start noting it out on there. We have very little time until the next sin approaches. And out of... I think it was... Who's left? Let me just check. Out of gluttony, greed, and sloth. Yeah. I'm not sure which one I would rather fight, if any of them. They're very insidious sins.
If you don't mind me saying, I feel like I've read a story about these sins you're talking about. It's pretty ancient. This was back in folklore sort of stuff. I didn't think they would still be around nowadays.
I think they might be in a different form. Maybe almost like a form of possession of these people. When their emotional state gets to a certain point, they become like doorways.
Well, if these things are still around, it doesn't bode well for the world. Could be in a state of chaos.
Not at all, and that's what concerns me. We'll certainly have our hands full, Leo.
Heh, this sounds like a job for a hero if you ask me.
Oh, do you know where to find one?
Well, I don't mean to brag or anything, but I'm becoming a hero.
Oh, are you? What's your dragon kill count?
0 for now, but
You just see Rigadas holds up 3 fingers, Alfera holds up 2.
right, I haven't had the opportunity yet. But when I get one, it'll be down straight away. One fell swoop.
I see, I see. I'm sure you are a fantastic hero candidate, Leo, and you'll have your count up in no time. Well, let's just hope the next Sith isn't a dragon.
And then it'll be my job to take it down.
need to find this backup plan. Leo, you think you've heard of them? I think we need to meet with them. They're always at the start of these events, or at least interconnected with them.
Oh,
And always
yeah.
the end.
We just were having a conversation about them, Althea and I, on the way over on the train. We saw them advertised on the news. I was also hoping to meet them as well. So this is pretty much perfect coincidence.
If you give me 10 minutes, we could always find a way to get to them. Slightly out of character, would a combination of discern location and warp space and time allow us to teleport to one of them, if we needed to? Or is that not a part of the what's going on at the moment?
You can do, but that's not what you need to do right now.
Fair enough. Well, it's good to meet you, Leo. Do you have accommodation? Are you being put up around here, or... Well,
Currently been going from kind of inn to inn, room to room, sometimes camping out in the wild. Haven't got a set space at the moment. Just going here and there and everywhere when there's a quest in need.
remember those days. Unfortunately, my back isn't quite what it used to be anymore, and I can't really sleep on the floor. You may stay at my home if you wish, if you could put up with me.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'll take you up on that offer. At least that way I can keep a closer eye on you, just to protect you, just in times of need.
Excellent. And don't mind the magical firefights that happen between my children, just ignore them.
Well, I will do. Hopefully it doesn't cause any danger to your health.
No, I will be perfectly fine.
Well, that settles it. Ethereal, I'll take you up on this quest. And I'll be sure to look after Iskandar here.
Good. I was hoping he wouldn't have to wait too much longer for a sword to stay by his side.
You can't come every time out there, I know you have duties to perform.
Yes, and those duties keep me very close to home.
I'll hand the orb back to Ringdas.
Before you hand the orb back, I need you two to make me a will save. As you go to reach for the orb, you can hear the shivering of glass and the movement of both book and leather. The building starts to shake, and you can hear the wind battering against the windows. You feel a wash of something come over you, though it's dulled and ignored, as it just kind of like flows around your body, almost as if it can't find an entrance. It does the same to both Alfair and Regandes as it flows through the rest of the library. The orb then starts to shine brightly, as you can see a new point has come up onto it.
There's another one. Did you feel that?
Yes. A powerful magic indeed. I have to check the others in this library.
Regandes then darts off.
Althero, I would greatly appreciate you helping Ringdas. I think this was a global effect. Look at this striation, the colors.
As you look to the orb, you can see that it has now kind of zoomed out to show Aeon Gaia in total, as the entire planet has been coated in a pink fog. Althea will speak up, as she can see some of that as well as just listen to you. Yes, I'll have to make sure the streets are fine. If there are emotion demons or whatever you speak of, and make sure everyone else is safe. Try and pinpoint its origin.
I will. Go with
She-
blessing.
She darts down the hallway.
I'll remain by your side. Make sure nothing happens to you.
My thanks, Leo. Come. We should probably get out of here. See if there is any good we can do in the streets.
You can still look at the orb.
Oh, okay, cool. Let me look at that orb then. I thought it stopped.
No. That was just like at a glance. You haven't like inspected the orb properly.
Yeah, so I'll thoroughly inspect it. Just say, Leo, could you just make sure that nothing happens? The last thing I want to do is to, well, do something wrong, really. And he'll bend back to the orb.
No worries. I'll
What
keep
do
my
you
eyes
need?
out.
Give me a spellcraft. As you look over the orb, the pink fog that covers the earth starts to dissipate more into a mist. You see multicolours appearing up in different villages, cities, and settlements across the world. You see swirls of violet, green, orange, light blue, yellow, pink, and red. Each colour doesn't seem to be any worse than the other. There are a few here or there that's a bit bigger, but it kind of all evens out eventually. And it comes to the point where you can see just to the south that there is a overwhelming sense of the pink aura, and you can roll knowledge geography.
Damn, that's my worst one.
You could also okay.
Oh yeah, it doesn't look like your worst
It's
one.
my worst one, he says.
It is.
All right. You can easily identify the settlement as Stone Shore, and with the pink fog being heavily condensed there, you're also able to identify that that is the Gluttony aura.
By the astrals. It's true. Gluttony has entered the world.
That doesn't sound good.
It's at the settlement of Stone Shore. We have to get there. Warn them.
Have we got any means of fast transportation?
Is it over 2,000 miles from here?
Do you not have greater bend space and time?
No, because that's God.
That's a
God
high
or
level
levels,
time.
okay.
That's a high level time mage
What
spell.
spell level is that? Because I'm not a time mage. I'd have to pick.
I'm pretty
at
sure
some
it
point.
was 7th or 8th.
I could, but I just didn't do that.
Okay. It's within 2,000 miles.
Okay.
It is
yeah, I shall-
1272.
I will pick that up as soon as I can. But yeah, I'll just say to Leo that I'll need to spend 10 minutes. I'll just say actually, I'll just need 10 minutes to discern the location. The last thing we want to do is end up in some horrendous shadow dimension, and then we'll go straight there.
Okie dokie.
And I'll do the exact same thing again, where I use esoteric magic to detect the location, and then greater bend space and time.
Do you wish to discern location of the Stone Shore itself, or the origin of the Gluttony aura?
I'll do it for the Gluttony aura first, but I thought for a creature you had to have touched them.
Let's have a look. See. To find a creature with the spell, you must have seen the creature or have some item that once belonged to it. To find an object, you must have touched it.
Yeah, so it would have to go to Stone Shore.
I'll say for Kumunch, since he was in the last one, he would have been on the news, so you would have seen him. I'll say that's enough for you to discern his location.
Okay. In that case, yeah, I'll attempt to discern the Gluttony aura. If it is him and I can see him, then I'll discern his location.
I kind of said that before you were meant to know, but yes, it's Kumunch.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can discern the location of the origin of the fog of gluttony, at which point you can discern that it is Kumach that's radiating it.
Oh no. We're definitely going to need backup plan. One of its members is gluttony. What happened to him?
Well, we can't find out unless we get closer.
Come. Let's get going. I think I've got everything in there.
Are you teleporting away with Leonard? Or Leonard?
Yeah, I was gonna hold out my hand if he wants to go.
Yep, I'm ready.
Alrighty then. I don't know why, but the percentile thing isn't in there. Do I need to roll that separately?
Yes.
Is it D100?
Yes.
At least I'm familiar with it.
For some reason that doesn't the table, so I'll just look at it quickly. You're fine. That's well within it.
Cool.
Alright, teleporting with him far away, you disappear. As we go back to the eyes of Joseph. Joseph was going back to Stoneshore. He needed to talk to his father about something important. There was just mainly some dinner details and saying that Oster may be late for dinner that day. Though as you are here, you were able to resist the effects as it is currently a very situated thing. As Joseph, you can hear the screams of horror outside as the skies have darkened over and the storm has erupted.
Approximately where in Stoneshore am I?
You're in your parents' house.
Did I feel some effect try to affect me?
Nope.
Oh. And do my parents seem fine?
I mean, they're very worried about the screams and whatnot outside, but they're unaffected by any sort of emotion.
I will run outside and try to help whatever's going on out there.
As you run outside, the storm up in the skies is terrible and disastrous. The people are making their ways to get the boats inside of the basically just trying to beach them as hard as they can. As you dart your eyes around, you see a swirling vortex of pink fog and lightning. As you can see, a tornado of it is erupting from the house that Kumach is currently situated within.
I will run straight there.
As you run straight there, you feel a heavy rush of magical energy as it tries to push and pull you back. The screams of the damned and a heavy sense of dread fills the atmosphere. At which point you can feel a spark of lightning and energy in the air as two people appear beside you.
Oh, we've made it in time. Oof. Oh, hello.
Perfect time by the looks
Get out
of
of
it.
my way, helping somebody. And I just keep running.
Don't go in there. It's gluttony. Leo, help him.
Leo kind of quickly reacts and tries to stop him. You need to stop.
I think I'm faster than you, so good luck.
as you try and make your way through the tornado of energy and lightning. As the lightning strikes into the ground, the earth is dug up, and a waft of smoke erupts from the floor. Monsters pop up here and there, made of goop and solid mass, spikes and chitin, claws and tendrils. The area is full of abominations, undescribable to anyone else. You could just say it was a monster. You count a total of 8. Another lightning strike makes 9. At which point, Joseph, you're pretty sure whoever those two that appeared are definitely going to be of a necessity to you at this point.
Damn it. Come with me. Are you any use in a battle?
I have
Yes.
my talent.
I'm talking to you. You with the sword and the staff.
Of course. Let me. Well, give me just a moment. How many of them are there? Sorry.
There's currently 9.
Alright.
But does Iskandor have sending?
Ooh. No.
Okay, you have a scroll of sending you can use. Since you know you wanted to get backup plan.
Cool. I will use that.
Are you going
How
to use
good
it?
are you at using scrolls?
Well, it's in my spell list.
You'll know that you don't know who Osa is, so you'd have to use that on Joseph.
Oh. Then I'd... Can you cast sending and make someone else do the talking? Is that a thing? Or would I just give it to him?
It
Well, seeing as how
is...
which
Well, it'd be
reason
message, not
being
sending.
on backup plan, you would probably know that Joseph has requested scrolls in the past.
Or is it not message? It's one of the bloody spells. I'll just say you can use it on Joseph.
Okay, cool. We'll do that.
I can
I
also
need to... Sorry, go on.
I can also just use the scroll myself.
Yeah, well, either way, I'll just say, contact the rest of backup plan, apart from him, and I'll point towards the, tornado house.
Alright, and I will use the scroll to do so.
You're able to get a good connection with Osa. At which point, Osa gets the same message she did when she was in her village, and as these 3 fend off against those creatures for a few moments more, Osa will be teleported to here with the other Burmesian. Though they land a few feet away as you hear a heavy thud behind you. At this point, you would have been fighting these abominations for about half an hour, just because Osa takes too long. And Joseph, Iskandor, and Leonard, as you've been fighting these abominations, every time you slay one, another lightning strike hits the ground and another comes up. And as you hear the thud, you can creak your head over your shoulder as you can see Osa hugging another Babetian on the floor. And you're pretty sure now's not the time for that.
Oh, sorry. Finally made it. Kumunch is over there, and this storm is centered on him. We need to get to him.
Jesus, that child was loud.
Elsa kind of starts pushing herself up and looks at the permission. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna find, safety.
He looks at Joseph. Are your parents home? Are they safe?
They seem to be so far. You can go to my house. It's right down the road.
Just point towards Joseph's house. Like, go there. Tell them you're with Joseph. You'll be fine.
As you point, the Mbisha's already like 50 feet away running that way.
Thank you. What's going on? What is happening? Things went to shit back at Eva too.
Your friend Q-Munch is the sin of gluttony. Look at that house.
It doesn't make any sense.
You have been fighting creatures of sinful energy for months now. All 4 of them. And now him.
Then we have to go make sure he's okay.
Okay. Iskandor's gonna look at Leo and Joseph, who are probably like, I know we're not pretty worse for wear at this point, but likely covered in, I don't know, black blood, a few cuts and scrapes. What about the people?
Well, obviously them too. Do we have strength for this?
Storms before they'll survive this one too.
I did not hear what you said.
Stoneshore has survived storms before. They'll survive this one too. We need to help what's in the middle of this right now.
Ultimately, firstly, the people come first. I don't know what your connection is with that coup inside, but the people's safety always comes first.
Are you telling me coups are not people?
They are, but he is the source of gluttony right now. We need to get all the people away from him.
I can assure you, he unfortunately is.
And as our newfound hero group starts to bicker amongst themselves where they should go, we will have to end the session here as Jack needs to go. So we'll end it on a very energetic and going
Cliffhanger.
towards a climax of the storm.